Good evening. Time flows differently when you have all eternity before you. Kindred, freed from the shackles of mortality, operate on a different time scale than the kind they prey upon. At least, this was true for the longest time. As it moved on, Kindred needed to adapt to the rapidly increasing pace of humanity. In modern nights, the immortal undead have to live according to the rapid pace of mortals, reacting just as quickly to events and adapting on the fly. Not every kindred has adapted. Many have been turned to dust because of their slow reactions. Many more will. For the kindred of Montreal, this adaptation is all the more crucial as the eyes of the Second Inquisition are set on the city still. One misstep, one moment of hesitation, and the mortal kind will overpower us all. I am Simon, at Wandering DM, and I will be your storyteller for tonight. And now, let's go on with our story, shall we? Good evening, and welcome back to Montreal by Night. In our game, a week has passed since our last session. IRL, 2 weeks have passed since our last session. But we are back, we are ready to play. We have a guest for tonight. And so our session tonight will be a little special because we'll do the whole upkeep first. Talk about what happened during that week. Play out any scene that we want to have played out. I have a couple things to announce. And then we'll move the clock back to present day in our campaign and keep going from there. I should introduce myself. First of all, I'm Simon at Wandering DM. I use he, him pronouns. I'm the storyteller for tonight. And I have with me an amazing cast of kindred. I'll let them introduce themselves one by one. And just to shake things up, we'll start with our guest for once. Hello, Lindy.
Hi, it's me. I'm Laugh First Lindy, and I am very excited to be here tonight. I didn't have my D&D game, and I was like, Simon, I don't have this game. Can be here if you want. And Simon made it happen. So here I am, playing Folly Watson, social media influencer and aspiring actress, and a Malkavian. So, just the best person ever in her narcissistic opinion. She's a lot of fun to play, and I'm sure a true terror and delight to be around.
Speaking of someone who is a delight to be around, except when they frenzy in the middle of downtown. It's Trooper. But I mean, the character frenzied in the middle of downtown. Trooper himself did not, but, you know.
I was wondering.
You should see me frenzy. When I frenzy, I eat like 3 donuts, like all in one sitting. Like, it is like wild.
It is Masquerade breaching.
Yeah, I was like, oh no, I won't just have one donut, not just two. I'll have all three. And then everyone's like, oh no, what kind of person could eat 3 donuts in one sitting? They must be undead. That's usually what happens. And I am playing Dixon, who is your vampire without a home. And that's me.
Speaking of a vampire without a home, at least that is not allowed to have a static home. Deirdre, hello.
Hey, everybody. I would like to object to the without a home. I have a perfectly good home.
A
It's on
static
4
home.
wheels.
Yeah.
It moves. It's also really, really nice and armored. Hi, everybody. I'm your friendly neighborhood Prax. At Deirdre Donlan on Twitter, or Praxgorth as Meophores. You see me around here in Twitch. I get to play Flori, and nothing that has gone wrong in this city is this Ravnos' fault. At all. In any way, shape, or form. She has fixed everybody else's problems. Specifically, mostly Dixon's problems. Or the problems that Dixon causes. When he frenzies and makes a mess. Because he can't, it just leaves all of the food left all around. It's, like cleaning up after a family dinner. It's fine. In the best possible way.
And our next and last player to introduce themselves. Pope, hello. Sorry I didn't have a good segue. I was disturbed by a cat trying to chew my computer cables.
It is just your cat trying to spare Artie the stress and terror that he'll be experiencing tonight. Hey everybody, Pope here. Pope World Bill on Twitter, Pope World Bill on Twitch. I lurk in all your streams. And apparently your cats are fans of mine. That is why the destructive nature as they're trying to spare Artie. Hey, I am so glad to be back with Montreal crew. I wait with bated breath as Tornado Folly makes landfall again in Montreal. And there's a lot of bad. Just that's all. The wall calendar is just like every day listed bad. So we'll see if things can get worse. I hope not.
Everything can always get worse. But speaking of things getting worse, it has been a week since our last events. And I would like to know, let's start with Arthur.
Yeah.
And the revelations of things that you've learned a few sessions ago during the Elysium. So what have you been up to for a week?
So the week starts with Diane.
Okay.
We have that drink. We have that talk. And then I am using something I recently gained XP-wise from a lore sheet. I am using, let me get the precise word.
It's okay, I'm pulling up my...
Tradition Master. And to flavor this, in meeting with Diane, I'm enacting the Tarnished Crown protocol proposed by Hardestat at the Convention of Thorns.
Okay, that's the Convention of Thorns one. Which book was it in? I think we have it
Core.
in... Okay. Yes. Sorry, I just wanted to have it up at the same time.
Tarnished Crown protocol states that it is the duty of every lawful kindred within good standing within the Ivory Tower, should a prince be possibly compromised, they are to report this and all evidence given in support of this compromise to not just the sheriff. No, sheriffs can be bought or compromised. This goes to 2 archons as well. And it is pushed up the chain. A Justicar should respond if the archons find something wrong with the prince. And should the prince be found compromised, if it is of their own doing, well, that prince meets a really quick end. If it's from an outside hand, they get put on the red list. And the hunt is called. So Diane got a copy of everything in the box.
All right, let me just... Did you have specific archons in mind that you wanted her to forward this letter to?
Oh, like, again, I gave her the box, and Artie's reasoning for doing this with Diane, specifically. If it came from somebody else within the Montreal community, there would be suspicions.
Mm-hmm.
Diane has the most to gain from this, but not within her own clan. While as if I did this with Valois, this would be an absolute coup for him. Because that gives too much good look to him and to the Tremere. So there may be askance about this. But Diane, she's a good rose. Also, the roses know how to put on a show. And
Indeed.
2 Toreador Archons showing up, that's going to be a thing.
It's going to be pretty much public.
Yeah, they're really, really good at finding things out. Surprise. Oh, and they love rumors. Especially the one that I'm calling in from our recent La Sombra acquaintance. So yeah, that's what I've been doing with my week.
All right. Flory.
So Flory did a lot this week. She sent the communication. The calls that she did not make the night of the Elysium, which were to she called Giordani and said, "Hey, can you check on Villon and if he actually sent this little princeling or not, because this little princeling is now being possessed." And then she had the pause in this message by a personage of uncouth character, because she doesn't actually want to say Val first right up to Giordani on a message. She feels like that may be informing Giordani that one of his personal nemesis is puppeting the current prince the little shit who wants to be the current prince in this city, is maybe a conversation to have like directly and not through like voicemail tag.
Makes sense.
You know, so she would because she doesn't. If Villon did send this prince, then maybe someone should let Villon know that this little princeling is now compromised. If Villon did not send this little prince, now maybe someone should possibly let this little that Villon know that this princeling is invoking his name and making claims based on his name. Either way, drama.
Yes. You'll get a reply later this week. I'll get to it.
Yeah. And she's going to then do a drive-by casing of what is it? The monastery at Notre Dame.
You mean the Mary Queen of the World?
Yeah.
The basilica, the cathedral, I should say, in front of Dorchester Square.
No, she's going to do a case drive-by of that one, but she wants the monastery on the mount.
Oh, you want the place where there would be
the convent? Yeah,
there might have been there might be an entrance.
An entrance.
Yeah.
Yes, I will tell you exactly where it is because I have it here, right in my list of note. Or is it? I might have it on my map, actually. No, I do not. Okay.
Because I was trying to find it on
the
the map.
It's the Brothers of Charity or something.
Yes, it is. It's the Brothers of Charity. It's the fountain of the mountain up by St. Joseph's Oratory.
Yes, at the next to the oratory at the Brothers of Charity.
Yeah,
Yep.
She's gonna do a drive-by of the Brothers of Charity. She's not getting out of the car. Those guys are, in her opinion, they're worse than the Dominicans. The Brothers of Charity are worse than the Dominicans. They're not quite as bad as the Legionaries of Christ, but she has opinions about the Legionaries of Christ.
Let me just check a thing. Yes, they are located in a cul-de-sac. Which means that you can, unless you get out of your car, from the car you'll be able to check out like the front and one side of a building.
Yeah, I think what she would do is like
front and back.
Front and back. I think the first night she would do the drive in the car, and then the second night she would leave the car, by the way, not the RV, but her car. But her car is very distinctive, a Corvette, a 62 Corvette is very distinctive. Also has a very distinctive sounding engine.
And I doubt that any of the people that work at the oratory have that type of car.
No. So, doing a single drive-by would be one, but then she would come back like maybe a couple nights later and do dressed in Florica Winter's business accoutrement, looking like herself as the art appraiser, art repatriationist. And just, do they have an open chapel?
Not in that area. So basically what they have here is
the Brothers of Charity.
It's more like I'll say it's an office. It's in an apartment complex. And they basically turned one of the apartment in this little like the one on the first floor into like let's call it an office. They needed to have an address to operate.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is where it is. Mind you, the thing is, the entire area around it, so you are in a very secluded area of Montreal, you're up on the mountain. The oratory just looms over everything where you are. And the apartment complex and sort of like the two other complexes on each side, they used to be part of this old like seminary. And that's in their like common courtyard, if you will. That's
Yeah.
where you have, I mean, you can see that on Google Map anyway, but that's where you would have the fountain, right?
Mhm.
So in themselves, they don't have like the entire building doesn't seem to belong to them. It's just there's an address there that is theirs.
Mhm.
You can probably infer that like
Yeah, they probably
their
own
members
more.
probably live in the apartments like around.
Yeah, and they
Um,
probably own and it's the church. It doesn't matter whether or not the brothers of charity actually publicly own the whole building. The church owns the whole building. Like their particular order may no longer, but that doesn't mean that the church gave it up. Whether they do it publicly or not is an entirely different question.
Well, I mean, their order does operate in Montreal.
Oh no, but it's like what you had, particularly after Vatican II, is you had a lot of these, and through Vatican II, and then up into like the 80s and 90s, and then in the early 2000s there was the downturn. So a large number of these orders that no longer had the population to maintain these large sprawling complexes started selling property, but not
Yeah,
really selling it.
Yeah, in
'Cause-
this case,
They would rent it out or do
a
other
quick
things with it.
a quick like search of like these apartments, they do not belong to their organization.
No, but
It's
they might
just-
have been. But the organization may have sold them back to the Big C Church in the Vatican under various holding properties.
In this case, it's owned by a layperson who just
Ooh.
happens to be on friendly terms with the church. So it's basically, we have a neutral, quote unquote, third party that handles all of this. But the neutral third party is a name that when you quickly Google it, you notice that, that they're very involved in everything that the church might do. It's one, oh god, the name sticks out. Mr. Ignacio.
Ignacio.
Yep.
Ignacio is a first name. I would wonder what the gentleman's last name is.
No, it's actually his last name. I'm trying to find his first name.
It's very intriguing. She makes a note of that he's using such a very obvious first name as a last name, because that pings on her. But she's going to do like a little walk by dressed as, her business identity. And, case the joint.
You notice as you walk about, of course, without stepping onto the property itself, that there's a public walkway not too far from it. It's like a hiking path, a hiking trail on Mount Royal. It's just high enough in back of where those apartments are that were it not for all of the trees, you could probably see into the courtyard from where you are. But because of all of the trees, someone who really wanted to could probably use this as cover to get fairly close to the courtyard without running the chance of being seen. Instead of, it would be safer than to go by the street, is what I meant.
Mm-hmm. So she would kind of like take, take a moment to kind of do that. Go through it. Plan to do a more in-depth hike, but she kind of takes a moment to make sure she knows what's going on.
Cool. Sorry. So yeah, it is, it's in a fairly secluded area, like I said, and mechanically speaking, basically, if you go through that, like, covered path and all that, unless someone is in the courtyard or looking from, let's say, their balcony onto the courtyard, like, you could get all the way to the fence without being seen. Now, if you hop the fence and someone's...
I can get a lot further than that without being seen.
You, as a general, unless there is someone in the courtyard, they won't see you. Now, if someone was to go by the either streets, it's for sure you'd have to walk through the yard. Anyone who happens to be glancing out their windows would notice, because there is very, very little traffic on those streets. Even during daytime, though it's a bit harder for you to do that.
Yeah.
At the end of your week, it's been some time. I mean, it's been some time. It will have been almost, nigh on a month now, since you've arrived in Montreal. About 3 weeks, and you've messaged Giordani often during that time. And eventually, you get a longer reply. Because, Zalmari did reply a couple of times. But this time, the message comes from Casimir.
Oh.
It's very formal in how it's written. Short, but here goes. Flory. Giordani is no longer answering his calls. I've instructed Zalmari to figure out what is going on. I need to remain here to work on the case. There's a ellipses before case. I can feel in my blood that my sire is still alive. I just don't know what's going on. Stay safe.
She will actually call Casimir.
Accounting for time zones. This is a little complicated.
Yes, but he is texting her, right? Like,
yes, he sent you just the one text.
Yeah.
And let me check. Time zone. It's 8 hours.
It's possible.
He is 8 hours ahead. Yeah, it's basically your early night.
Yeah.
Or end of night. Like, it's either. Actually, not end of night. It would be your early night. And you managed to catch him. And he answers.
And she will start with, Val is puppeting the little princeling in the city.
Oh, that's not a good thing. That is the opposite of a good thing.
I'm assuming she knows I'm in the city because I was invited to a event before I knew that she was puppeting the princeling.
Be careful around her. With the Giordani situation, I'm thinking that something is preying on our little family.
That was my concern and why I felt I had to call instead of just text. I really didn't think that phrase would have gone over well in a text.
You did well. I'm rather indisposed where I am at the moment. But have you felt a pull lately?
No.
You felt the desire to
If you start saying go east, I will hunt you down, and I do not care what continent you are on. I will put you in a box, and we are going to Antarctica.
I am exactly saying this.
I'm going to hunt you down and put you in a box, and we are going to Antarctica. I can't deal with this shit. I had to clean up somebody else's frenzy. I had to clean up somebody else's frenzy again. I had to clean up the fact that Hetty doesn't apparently tell anybody what she's doing and doesn't left her child uninformed about what the rest of us are here to do.
Okay, that's
I've got Val in this city. I've got Tremere who's holding the reins of a gargoyle, and I've got a panicking former criminal Samish.
So it feels like you have quite the full plate already. I just want to know, have you felt the beckoning?
No.
Okay.
And if you start to say anything more about it,
I will. I have not felt it, but I think that my sire, that Casimir, might have heard it.
Casimir.
Giordani. Names. Sorry, I have Casimir's face in like I have his entry in my face. Speaking of entries, for anyone who is interested.
Oh, there we go.
It's supposed to come on automatically, but here's our wiki that is public and that you can see all of the NPCs and all of the things that our players have access to. So he says, Giordani might have felt it.
Can we say that if we know that Val is running around puppeting a princeling here in Montreal?
Can we say what?
That Giordani felt something and didn't, piss her off again.
The three of us, Zalmadi, myself, and Casimir, things are happening in the Middle East. And we thought we had things under control. But I had to keep Zalmadi with me. Things are happening all over the world right now. And Giordani seemed to have had some knowledge of this. And at this point, we're trying to find... Well, I'll be frank with you, Flory. I'm trying to find the information he left behind more than my sire himself. I think he is still among us, but I have no idea where he went.
Have you called the cousins?
For the most part, once the beckoning started to happen, a lot of the cousins have decided to make it a lot harder for anyone to reach them.
No, I meant the ones that still have a pulse.
Oh, there are none here, unfortunately. But I haven't checked with the wider family just yet.
If I might make a recommendation, how else is he going to travel during daylight hours? He doesn't drive.
It's not so much traveling as literally vanished from the face of the earth.
Well, unless he got to deal with a mage and walked through a portal.
The three of us were in the Middle East. We are currently in Iraq, Zalmadi and I.
Yes, that's a great place for you to be.
That was Casimir's Jardani's last known location. It's very strange, and there are voices and signs that the living don't seem to be aware of. But we've seen them in the earth, in the sky. I don't think Val has jurisdiction or power across the globe.
No, but, you know. Before we decide he started religious conversion. Oh, good lord. I leave you alone for 1 month. 1 month.
Well, this was supposed to be a fairly easy case, and Zalmadi was supposed to be on his way to Montreal. I will have need of him for a few nights more.
Oh, yeah, I'm already going to tell him he's going to stay with you to make sure you don't go wandering off into the sun.
No one has walked into the sun yet. And you can feel in his voice that it's more of a I hope.
Mm-hmm.
But even you as a Ravnos, after everything happened during the Week of Nightmares, like when one of your own burns under daylight, there is like
you feel it.
You feel it, like there's like a warmth in the blood. Not as devastating as when Grandpappy Ravnos died, but
yeah,
there's like you can feel it. The rest of the family feels it.
Yeah, there aren't that many of us left. We know when one breaks the connection. It's fine.
Yeah, and so far, so far, neither you nor him have sensed anything. At least not since you've landed in Montreal.
Wait, what's her name?
Who?
Who's the other member? Like, who's the La Sombra that was a member of the Liberation Coterie? Yeah,
Damien Black.
Damien Black, and was the member, and then there was someone else.
The Liberation Coterie had 4 members. Yep.
Jardani and Casimir.
And
no,
Greg Sire.
Jardani. Casimir wasn't part of it.
Yeah, Jardani.
Yeah, no, it was Jardani, Greg Sire, Hetty, and Damien Black.
And another
the ones
one.
I have on the
yeah, it's the other one who I'm trying to remember. Her.
Yeah.
And I'm blanking on who that is. But
there is no name.
Oh, we didn't put a name with her, did we?
No. In game.
Yeah.
She is no name. She is known as the Salubri.
Oh, yes. So Flory would just say, I'm going to call her and tell her that if you don't call her in the next 48 hours, that you're doing something silly and that she should possibly look out for Jordani.
If you manage to reach her, you'll have done more in however time it'll take for you to reach her than we've had since we split up.
Oh, great. She's missing?
Yes, she hasn't resurfaced since what did the thing that happened The Inquisition in Montreal. I'm blanking out on the name, but that
not
event.
Nightmares.
No, it's the Night of Ashes.
The Night of
Simon
Ashes.
knows, Giardani doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Casimir doesn't.
Casimir doesn't. Jeez.
It's okay. I know who we're talking about. That's the important part. So she's not talking about Hetty. She's talking about the Salubri.
Yep.
Okay, she goes, you know what? I know a guy. He owes me a favor. I fixed his life. We'll call. Honestly, I leave you alone for 1 month. Do not get more dead than you currently are.
And do not get in the target of Val.
I got a list right here. It's got multiple names on it. So if you don't want me to get in her way, then you should maybe get your ass out of the Middle East. Iraq is not a pleasant country.
No,
and
we have
Shia.
we have a less than pleasant operation going on. But we have to see to it.
Fair. Well, I might go shopping. Have a pleasant day, tells Amadi I said hi. And she'll hang up before he asks any further questions about where she's going shopping. And she's like, you know. And then she'll look at her phone and text Alex. Smart.
Yeah, he answers rather quickly.
Yeah.
A little bit more used to technology. What's up?
How do you want to make some money?
Sure, you got something to sell?
Oh no, I need your other little skill set.
What do you need?
I need you to find me somebody who's good at the computer who won't ask any questions.
I mean, normally I'd recommend Melvin.
Melvin. Malkavian, right?
Yeah.
Good. You can introduce me. I'll see you in about an hour. And she'll hang up.
And we'll have that scene
Mhm.
after we do the
Yep.
the rest. So basically, that would be like the night that we're going to pick up all of our events. You and Alex and Melvin. Because in the meantime, I would like to know just what happened to Lucky during that week.
Nothing much. He, unless he gets a job, unless he gets orders from the boss, Artie, he doesn't. He just does what you do. You know, he makes sure he sleeps in a different underground parking lot every night, and tries to avoid being caught. Picks up the newspapers to sort of see what's going on, and he spends the week commuting into the boss's territory to go and try to increase security there. You know, just making sure if there are easy ways in or out of the territory, that those things are patched. If there are...
Well, I mean, aside from the streets themselves.
Yes, but there are... You know, you can keep things up, you know, getting people to go and keep their eyes out and report back to the boss. Just sort of keeping in general this place so that if anybody is coming in or out, they'll report to the boss as quickly as possible.
Well,
So he mostly spends the time trying to keep the boss's territory more secure.
in the news that you've read over the course of that week, and one of the things that did help you sort of convince people to keep an eye out, is ever since there was a rampage caused by a drug addict downtown, a couple of days ago. There's a sort of paranoia that sort of grew in Montreal among a certain population, I should say, a certain age group more than anything. In that, you know, the youths, we don't really know what they're up to, and they do bath salts now, and that's dangerous,
True.
and probably
True.
we should shut down Bed Bath and Beyond because, you know, they sell bath salts,
Absolutely.
and, you know, those are drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah. But also, the response that the city had, there's no like manhunt. The cops are out looking for troublemakers. They've arrested a lot of people downtown, a lot of them for minor drug offenses. The mayor of Montreal hasn't really publicly said anything, which, you know, has garnered him a lot of enmity from that age group, which is pretty much most of his constituents. That said, there's no curfew. There's no official curfew, but there's like these almost like neighborhood watch groups that have started to form on Facebook and on the streets, neighborhoods, people watching up until a certain time, because a lot of them go to sleep rather early.
Yeah.
But for sure, there are people, like, we're at the end of summer, start of October. Temperatures are going to drop. But even then, there are a lot of people that stay out on their porches
Yeah.
a lot later into the night. They'll just, you know, have a beer on the balcony of their apartment, talk with the neighbors, but you can feel like their eyes just watching all the time, and they would be more than happy to keep an eye out for the troublemakers, you know, especially if you mention that, you know, you have a business here and that.
Well, I refer everything to Artie, right? Because he's the one that will be impressive to people. I will not be impressive to people.
You know, but you work for the owner of that place, and you know it's you don't want any trouble here, and and the thing is Little Italy is, you know, a little more well off than the rest of, especially the two neighborhoods north and south, which is Montreal North and Hochelaga. So they are rather easy to convince, because the people that cross, you know, into the other territories, they don't really like them, and they're the type, of course, they have the reputation on the news and everything. Hochelaga is a drug den. Montreal North is, well, insert racist comment here. Yeah, absolutely. So it's easy to just have them, you know, be on the lookout for people that
suspicious people.
Yeah. Oh, there are suspicious people, but young suspicious people. They right now, this is the demographic that's targeted.
Also, cell phone footage of the rampage. Did that make to the news?
Not that much. The only video that exists, it's not even videos, it's photos that exist of it, are these grainy, blurry pictures. First of all, of you running very quickly. But we can definitely see a man, a black guy wearing a hockey jersey, holding a parking meter in his hands. It's just, there's no definite, like, wow, the word I'm looking for. Facial features that could make you easily identifiable.
If someone
no-
didn't already
yeah.
know you.
Yeah, that's it. It's
Yep.
Your face is not plastered everywhere. It's just they know that it's this person, though they don't even know. For most of the witnesses, they think you were wearing a Boston Bruins shirt.
Obviously.
Same
They're
colors.
Yeah.
Yeah, and because of the rivalry,
You know.
it's easy to think, yeah. But no one has pointed a finger at you specifically. Of course, humans wouldn't know. You haven't heard much from the vampire community, though I don't think you've been going after
No.
or looking for their companionship or their fellowship.
No.
So it's mostly been, perhaps, I don't know how Lucky would see this, but you might have actually been lucky in that regard.
There are photographs, and also a vampire went on a rampage in downtown Montreal. Vampires know that sort of business.
No,
That's
but
not
I
one of
mean,
those
as far
things-
as humans
yeah.
are concerned,
Lori
Yeah.
went to a lot of effort to minimize.
The thing is, if you know, it's like the whole Clark Kent glasses thing. That only works if you actually don't know both of them. If you do know both of them, you'll be like, oh,
Well,
Clark, Superman.
it worked.
You know what I
It
mean?
worked for a
But
really
so
long time
far-
for a bunch of people that did know both of them. Looking at you, Lois Lane.
but so far, by the way, after a week, no other vampire has come after you.
Well, I've been working hard to make sure that I'm not in the same place. I would have driven by the old house once to see if they've moved out, but I would not. sort
There
of
is
go
a for sale
approach.
sign.
Good. And so, because they're the first people would attack if they need to get at you, and too many people know that place. So yeah, he would just, and that's going to justify the extra 2 dots in Portillon that I put into the domain.
Cool.
But it's mostly just like trying to keep the place,
Safe.
Artie's place safer. Yeah. And stay off the radar.
Speaking of keeping a place safe, Folly is now in the real estate business.
That's right.
Folly, I would like to know,
Yes.
what have you been up to since you inherited this manor?
Yes. Well, I've drawn up a bunch of sketches and some blueprints, for the renovations, because we are going to restore it to its proper turn of the century, last century glory. It is going to be beautiful. We're going to refinish the hardwood floors. I mean, there's a lot of work that needs done, but it's okay because it's going to make for great blogging content. So I think she would have gone through the house with probably some type of structural person who knows structural things, just to make sure that she knows everything that needs to be done, and so she can organize all that work, get a foreman in charge of it, that kind of thing.
Well, first question.
Director. Yes.
Do you intend to live in that manor while there is construction going on?
Oh. Not full time. I mean, I have my haven,
Because they
I
would be
imagine-
there only like from 8 to 5.
Yes, as they should be. Yes, I have my haven. I imagine I would stay there a couple nights a week. It's been a week. I imagine I've stayed there about 3 nights to develop a rapport with the house, because if we're going to be working together, I need to feel them out, and they need to know how fabulous I am. So there's that.
The house gives you the cold shoulder.
It's fine.
Pretty
I'll get
much
over
what
it.
you feel.
It's okay. We're gonna get on great. Basically, we're gonna fix you up. We're gonna zhuzh up the place. I mean, have you seen this hole in the wall? Garish. Terrible.
So I haven't introduced you to the project mechanic, but we can talk
You
about
have
that during
not.
break.
Certainly.
It's basically if you want to turn this house into something that would give you mechanical advantages in the game. Okay, he does not care.
No fucks to give.
We can talk about that.
Certainly.
That said, within the parameters that you have given me, do you ask... Because the house has been changed a lot from its initial
I read about
layout.
it. I was like, ugh.
Yes, for those of you who are just joining us, this is a manor in downtown Montreal that does exist, by the way,
Lindy's
called
old house
Le
nerd
Manoir.
coming out.
And basically, it used to be a hostel, a bar,
1889.
a brothel, a
brothel.
club, a lot of things. And so a lot of the original walls were torn down. A lot of the room layouts have been altered. You mind? And so there's a lot of renovations that would need to be made. That said, I would like to know, in the original layouts that you found, there were concealed passages.
Oh, yes.
I am sorry if y'all hear purring.
Oh, I'm living for it. Lindy is living for the purring.
He is loving the microphone, apparently.
It needs love. He knew Folly was on, and he's like, we love the mic.
Yeah, this is the one that you don't see normally on stream, because that's Porthos. And he normally doesn't come on my desk. But anyway, all that to say, there were concealed passages for servants.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a secret panic room.
Oh, yes.
Do you ask them to put it back in order?
Yes, restore it to the definition of the original condition of the house, which means secret passageways, secret panic room, the works.
Cool.
Yes.
They will do all of that, and at the end of the week,
ghost tours.
Well, that's the thing. At the end of the week, they will send you a message.
Oh.
That they would like you to come and check out the house. There's a thing in the room, the contractor says.
Oh.
Just that. There's a thing in the room.
There's a thing in the room. She's like, house. That's why. I think she would have named the house too. If she couldn't find like an original name for the house, she would have given it like a nickname. She got a name from the house, so that way she could.
The house never named itself. I mean, it doesn't seem like it wants you to be there.
Well, it agreed to this, so too bad, house. You gotta get over it now.
It sort of was forced into agreeing, you know?
Well,
it's like someone coerced it.
Then, yeah, it's okay. I'm just so charming. It'll fall in love with me like everyone else, unless it's like Toreador at heart, and then whatever, it's lost cause. Yes.
I think the cat farted.
I think we'll name the house Gerard.
Cool.
I see Trooper laugh. I don't know if that's because there's another NPC named that already. No? Okay. You just liked the name then. Nicknamed the house Gerard.
All right. And they will ask you to come down to check it, because otherwise they're not. So there's a thing in the room.
There's a thing.
And we want you to come and check it out, because we're not going to keep working on there until this is resolved.
Okay, yeah, she will adjust her streaming schedule and like, schedule some social media posts and let Arthur know. She's gonna text Arthur. Gerard's done nothing. Oh, Gerard's the house, by the way. Don't know what it is, but I'm going to investigate. Wanted to let you know. Just a series of texts. Boop, 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 boop. I'm bringing a can of Lysol, a lighter, and a baseball bat. Just in case. I don't know what this thing is. I don't know what stray monstrosity Gerard has lured to the house or whatever, or generated. Better be safe than sorry.
A controlled burn usually does not solve these kind of problems.
She doesn't tell you about the lighter. I'm just telling Simon what she's bringing.
Oh, yeah. I'm just, this house has already scared a few vampires to death before, so...
There's a problem with your house.
Apparently, the workers said they won't resume construction restoration until the thing in the room is dealt with.
Did they give you descriptions of the thing in the room?
Definitely not. I think they were kind of freaked out.
Yeah, no, like just to himself. Yeah, no, I need this distraction right now. Okay, I guess I'm gonna be. When do you want me over there?
I've cleared my schedule, so I guess whenever you're free. But sooner the better. Construction delays and all that.
Be over at 8:30.
Okay. Heart. Smiley face. Oop. There's lots of emojis in Folly's texting.
Mm-hmm. And we'll take our break here so I can handle those kittens, because now there's a second one claiming my attention. And we'll come back with, Monday, I think it was October 4th was the date that we were at, with all of the scenes that we have. So stick around, everyone. We'll be right back. Hey, we're back. All right, and the week has passed. And we'll start with Miss Watson,
Hello.
who needs to go to Gerard tonight.
Yes. Going to visit Gerard.
Sun sets rather early on October 4th. Just checking. Yeah, at 6:30. You gave Arthur 2 hours
I did.
to show
It
up.
was very benevolent of me.
Yes. Do you arrive at Gerard's before then?
I do have to get ready, so that takes a little while. Lots of makeup. So I'm probably there about 20 minutes before he should be there, just to be early.
When you walk onto the premises, you would notice that there is no Kine about.
Okay. It is a creepy
The
haunted house.
street is completely deserted. Yes, but you are also next to a university campus in the middle of
Oh.
downtown.
Maybe there's an event going
But-
on. I checked the social medias. Is there an event
Not
coinciding
really.
with this?
A voice interrupts your browsing.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to come out of nowhere and everywhere at the same time.
Gerard?
Still on your phone, I see.
Yes.
A pale Nosferatu walks out from under a streetlight, wearing a long black trench coat, a black turtleneck sweater. You can see his blue veins under the skin.
She's just quietly thankful that her production manager, like her director, was not a Nosferatu.
You recognize the newly minted sheriff, Caleb.
Oh, the sheriff. Yes, Caleb. Okay.
Might I take a minute of your time, Miss Watson?
I checked my schedule. I like just to make my. Yes, I have a few of those laying about for free today.
I find myself in need of a helping hand for a small task. Nothing too complicated. Nothing that would take up a lot of your very precious time.
Yes, it's very precious.
I would like for you to reach out to a wayward kindred in town. You seem to have a way with people.
Yes, people love me. Like,
Then
just
he doesn't even, like, he lets the comment go. There's a moment of silence.
it's okay. It'll probably take a moment for it to sink in, but I know, so it's fine.
What do you know of the kindred known as Lucky Dixon?
Lucky Dixon. I may have maybe heard the name. Have I heard the name? That's a good question. Have I heard of Lucky?
In town you would have.
The
Maybe
name
you've
around
never
town?
met him before, but
We've never
Yeah.
met.
I think I've heard it around town a couple of times.
I am looking for Mr. Dixon. But I fear that Mr. Dixon, after recent events, I'm sure you've kept abreast of the news, is not in a mind space to meet with anyone, least of all me.
All right. Why do you want to meet with Mr. Dixon?
I have a proposal for Mr. Dixon.
Hi, I didn't know you were so deeply in love. How spicy.
He just stares unblinking.
Oh, if it's not that
Which-
kind of proposal, then what kind of proposal is it? Like, work? Like,
I can't say anymore,
you
but
can't say anymore.
I can tell you for a fact that, and you can relay the message to Mr. Dixon, should you find him, that it is not in any way a threat, and that I do not seek to end his own life.
I would like. Is there an insight check in this game?
Yes, it is called empathy.
Oh, great.
So it would be a, in this case,
Yes.
manipulation and empathy.
Manipulation and empathy.
Yes, and the difficulty will be 4.
I somehow
find
suspect
empathy.
that Folly Watson is very good at those things. I might be making that up. Those are
Wait,
just my
before you
suspicions.
roll your skill check though,
Yeah.
can you just make a rouse check? Everyone needs to make a rouse check
Oh,
when
yes,
you woke
yes,
up
yes.
earlier tonight.
Rouse check. Boop. I clicked it. It should go through in a moment.
All
Yep, there it is. Oof.
right. Now the two is kind of, it's peckish.
Little pickish. All right.
Oh no, Dixon went back to normal. I mean,
It's
granted,
okay, we can always kill people.
we didn't do rouse checks every night of the past week, but for sure at some point in the past week, the beast awoke again.
I don't see
It's-
empathy. Which one is that
Yeah,
in?
not
Which
seeing empathy.
column?
Oh, I am
No,
a dumb. It's literally called insight now.
Oh. Oh. Okay.
you can always just kill more people to your hunger down to 0. It's fine.
Sure. Let me roll insight then. Second attribute manipulation. Ooh, I have to get 4 successes.
Uh-huh.
Not very insightful. That's because I don't care about other people. We'll give it. Boop. Yeah, no.
I mean, you could roll... You could spend a point of willpower to re-roll that one die that
It's
failed.
4. I need 2 more that
Or
succeed.
you could make a rouse check to call upon the blood and give yourself 2 more points in manipulation, which would...
I mean, I don't know, Lucky. It's not like I care about him all that much. I just figured it was worth expending minor efforts into checking in
Just
on this.
yeah.
Like, all right.
Clearly, Caleb is, from what you can
Hard to read.
gather...
Yeah.
Well,
Guess that's why they made him the sheriff.
yes, but also you get the feeling that he's here more as a... He's not here as the sheriff.
Okay.
You get
I
the
can get
feeling
that
that he's
much.
here off the books.
Okay. Oh, so this isn't some little princeling little task thing or whatever.
Like I said, I cannot say anything more.
Oh, sure. Right. Okay, so you want me to do this for you, but why should I? So sorry. I can't keep a straight face when she's so terrible.
Well,
She's not terrible. She's perfect. That's exactly how you need to be. No, vampires don't do things for other people for free. Holly Watson's the best. That's all. Holly Watson's the best.
Look,
What do
Florrie
you-
has already sent multiple invoices to the prince for things. And she's already been
Coming to
paid
me for an off the books kind of favor thingy-majigger. I need to know why me. Why
Caleb
bother
looks
with
at the
this?
house behind you
Mhm.
and says, I've heard recently that you've acquired property in town.
Oh yes, this is Gerard.
I did not think that you would do anything for me for free. And I wager Gerard needs a lot of love.
He's a real handful.
Is there anything you need?
Well, I've got a thing in a room, but I'm not really sure what that's all about yet. I'm meeting up with someone in probably about 10 minutes or so. 15. Well, he's punctual, probably about 10. To look into it.
Then if you need help with this, that could be your payment. Or we work with a system of prestation, which I do not believe that you are aware of. Let's call it a favor for a favor.
Oh, yes. No, honey, I grew up in Hollywood. I'm very well acquainted with that business model.
Yes. Except, in this case, you have decades, if not centuries, to call upon that favor.
That's true.
It is
There probably
not
won't be a
something given
weird leather
lightly.
couch.
It is something that I would call a minor boon. I ask you to find Lucky. You find him, you relay the message.
Find Lucky, relay the message. Okay.
And in exchange, at any point in time during your own life, you need something of similar worth, I will make it so that it happens.
What do I know about this guy before he became sheriff? Like, has he been around for a while? Does he seem like he's got some longevity ahead of him? Or is he kind of a fast and loose kind of guy? Like, what's this guy's rep?
Can you roll intelligence and occult?
Oh, I'm so good at both of those.
Or intelligence and streetwise? Streetwise would be more about his like more modern, like more recent history.
I'll go for streetwise.
That would be difficulty 2, by the way.
Okay. Nope. No. Whatever.
You just look at him. You know that he's been around the block a few times.
Okay. Like
The
he
way
wasn't there
he's-
last Tuesday.
So the way he speaks doesn't translate well because we're, playing in English. But normally his speech pattern would be closer to Old French.
Okay.
But it's Old French is more recent than, let's say, like Shakespeare's English.
Yeah. But it's not new.
It's like, it would be around like 18th.
older than me.
I'd say 19th century.
Okay. A little older than me.
So he sometimes will use words or like turns of phrases that, even in your day, only old people would talk like that.
Okay, cool. So he's probably knows, and he's a Nos, so she'll say, I suppose. I have a little free time this weekend. I will relay this message.
Thank you.
Do you have a phone number so I can cash in that favor?
Oh, I do not use this. Should you need to cash in the favor?
Yes, that'd be good to know how to do.
Use this. And he hands you a business card. It's just completely black on one side, kind of off-white on the other, and on the off-white part, there's written in pen, in ink, basically, an address and a door number.
Okay.
You recognize the address as being, it's a building downtown. Like it's you're not quite sure which one necessarily because I don't think Folly goes out much.
She spends a lot of time on Photoshop and on her computer and like going to very strategic places in town for photos and like
I mean, if
studio.
you did a few photo shoots, you probably know it's the 1000 Gauchetière. Basically, it's the terminal, the train terminal, while also being a major metro station, while also hosting an office
complex.
skyscraper.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's one of the. Basically, it's probably like one of the office numbers.
Yep, she'll just tuck that card away and say, well, I'll give Lucky the message that you want to speak with him, and he'll know how to get in contact with you, or should I?
He will know.
He'll know. Okay.
Have a good night.
You as well.
And he steps back a few paces.
Yeah.
Turns.
And I'm like, now I know why there was no people on the street.
And as he leaves, you notice before he even goes under the streetlight, you're not quite sure if it's him or maybe the lamppost itself. But as he moves by, it sort of vanishes. Just
I
as
can turn invisible too. It's fine.
Arthur arrives.
Yeah.
I finally hope I didn't keep you waiting.
No, not at all. I showed up here early and I was just having a lovely little chat with somebody. This is Gerard. I'm calling him Gerard. I already told you that. Yes.
Yeah. All right. So let's go and deal with Gerard's
The thing in the room.
problem.
Yes.
Oh, all right.
How have you been?
Not well.
Oh. Sad. She'll
Saves
just go along the door.
You walk up the steps to the door,
Yes.
and despite them being made out of concrete and having a construction team that has, been trampling the place all week, each step that you take, tiny little fissures appear under your foot. Like the concrete itself was...
Concrete filler. Probably recast the whole steps. Whatever.
Wait a second. I'm taking a little look at those steps now and comparing them to my own. Is it specifically her?
If you take steps on the the house, the staircase,
Yeah.
your first, let's say, 2 steps, it does it, and then it's as if the house, like, changed its mind. Maybe it recognized
It's like, oh,
who
this
it
guy.
is and stopped whatever it is it was doing.
Hello again. Same rules as last time. You hurt me, I will hurt you. You respect me, I will respect you. Now, I understand there may be culture shock between both you and Ms. Watson. Didn't necessarily have a full-on live introduction, but make no bets about it. She is the one who owns this property and is going to move in and do as she wills. We can come to a agreeable arrangement, and I think that's what we can do tonight. But remember, in my toolbox, I have many things, and arson is just one of them. I have the means and opportunity to slowly disassemble you, have each and every brick blessed, and then reassembled. Do I make myself clear?
The house does not reply, but you get the feeling
They're giving
that it
me the cold
begrudgingly
shoulder.
acknowledges.
All right, let's go in.
Your heart's been giving me the cold shoulder all week, and I put the key in the lock and I open the door and
A home is very much like a good hound. You have to be firm.
yes, and I'm trying to give them improvements on their life.
They may not be agreeing. Again, like they have their own opinions. You need to talk with them.
I've tried. He's been very shut out. All right.
When you step inside the house, it seems like the shadows are less oppressive than before. That they're mundane shadows, not the smoky, inky stuff of nightmare that filled up the place before.
Okay. Well, I already see improvements. Where is this room with the thing?
They didn't say.
Great.
There are scattered around the place.
I imagine I know where they were going to start work, though. Probably on the upper story, so you could work your way down.
They've used, so the first floor has been mostly dedicated to like their workshop, if you will. You've got
Staging
like
grounds,
generators, yeah, you've
Yep,
got
yep, yep.
like all of their
Tools,
equipment, the
extension
tools,
cables,
yeah.
lights, yep. Oh yeah, I'm very familiar with
Um,
this process.
And a lot of
Work
the
towards the center and then out.
cables from the generators you see go up the stairs.
All right, probably up there.
All right, great. Upstairs. That's weird. Well, at least it's not downstairs yet, because that's usually the heart of problems. No, upstairs is where could actually not be the house itself. We'll see. Let's go and
It's a
find
thing
what
in
your
a
problem
room.
is.
So, in the upstairs, as you follow the cabling and everything, you notice that it ends in that room where the laptop was originally. Spotlights
A
have
room with
been
a laptop.
installed, and you notice part of the wall has been broken away.
Mm.
This would be where the panic room used to be.
Oh, it used to be. Yeah.
And you notice, as far as panic rooms go, it's a spacious walk-in.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a full-on room, but it could definitely hold a person with enough food and water for like a while, at least a couple of days. There's no reinforcement to any of this. There is no like safe door or anything, or like fireproof any of this, since it's probably been plastered over and forgotten over the years. What you
plaster left.
do
Yep.
find inside, though, in this small room, is a laboratory, a Victorian lab, if you will.
Oh my gosh, they didn't say it was this kind of a thing in a room.
Copper pipes and glass bottles and jars with dried up liquid in most instances
Most.
are
Oh.
placed on a table on the right hand side of this room. And the piping and the tubing and everything goes into this large stuffed animal. You think it's might be the body of a fox or a bobcat with
Okay.
the skull, the clean bleached skull of a cat attached to it. All the tubes go in. Of course the pelt on that stuffed animal is just
Like a
it
taxidermy.
turned it
Yeah.
Time has happened.
time has happened. It
What a-
wasn't kind to it, and it looks more like steel wool now than anything else.
Yeah.
It's a fairly sizable animal. I'd say like a good 2, maybe almost 2 feet long.
Yeah.
But the fur is now just this sort of almost like bleached gray color. It might have been gray originally, might have been some sort of like
Mhm.
blondish, or could have been a silver fox, could have been a cat. Like it could have been a lot of animals. The paws are not the original paws. They've been stitched. The front paws are definitely bobcats,
Okay.
lynxes. The back paws look more like maybe a cat or a fox.
Mhm.
They're smaller. They've been expertly stitched to the rest of the body. And the entire room smells of old dust, mildew, and ammonia.
Well, someone had a very bizarre hobby a century
Yeah.
ago.
And also a
Wonderful.
hint of salt.
All right. Before we enter, a few procedures. First, is this an avatar for you?
No answer.
All right.
Probably not
Is-
Gerard.
Is this individual a leftover of a previous resident?
The house doesn't reply. Almost as if the house might have forgotten about that place. Or it might just not care.
Yeah.
Okay, well, George
It's not
Clooney.
its hobby. I would understand not caring.
I'm giving you a name. Your name is now George Clooney. Are you animate?
I have to check a thing.
I mean, it's kind of a foxy cat, but you know.
It doesn't move. It doesn't react. It's
It
just
doesn't
stuck in this
move.
pose.
Hold on, I have to check a thing. It doesn't move. Okay, that's comforting.
You would notice, however, that had this thing probably been alive at some point or another, there is, so it's in, again, like set, let's say more or less against the far wall. So you're looking
Yeah.
at it. It is sideways to you, right? So it's
So
looking.
it's not
at
looking
the
at
wall.
us.
It's not
Oh,
looking
that's nice.
at you.
That's good.
But there seems to
yeah.
be something holding it to the wall, like from in back of it.
Uh-huh.
As you try to see if it has any reaction, and you move around trying to notice if
Yeah, I'm not breaching that doorway just yet.
but it's not moving.
All right, George. I'm taking my flashlight. I'm going to take a good look at it. I want to. scratch an itch in my noggin using occult and, if applicable, my Zamish specialty on identifying what the fuck is this?
The specialty will not apply, but you can definitely roll.
I will assist by not talking.
Why,
I
thank
know
you. I appreciate that.
Doesn't give any bonuses, just removes any potential penalties. The difficulty for such a thing would be 2.
All right.
Oh. Can I take a slightly different approach?
Yes.
He's using occult. Can I use technology to see what kind of experiment was happening on here? Because all this tubing and vats and vials going into it. So I want to be like, he's looking at the occult side of things. I want to look at the more scientific, experimental, I was alive when this was probably going on. I'm used to this kind of tech. Level of tech, at least.
Yes. Make intel and tech.
Okay.
Same thing. Difficulty 2.
Okay.
So I got 3 versus 2.
All right.
I'm just gonna get half every time.
You could spend a point of willpower if you wanted to
I'm
reroll
good.
your 2 dice. You're good? Okay.
Don't care that much. More like passing curiosity. Get to give Arthur a moment of silence to do his investigating.
Arthur, you recognize this as being the setup to create a homuncular servant. Someone who lived here, well, dabbled in oblivion for certain. And one type of oblivion set of particular power, especially from ye old Giovanni, or now the Hecata, is power over death itself. And the ways in which they can create a facsimile of life out of the realm of the dead. It requires a lot of things, which is now pretty much dried up. You, knowing what the ritual entails, you sort of can put your finger on certain of the content of certain of these bottles, even though it dried up. There was at one point blood, but there was also urine, fecal matter, and semen.
Yeah.
All made to be pumped into this thing.
Mm-hmm.
You also know that there needs to be a blade involved in this that should be somewhere in here.
Okay.
But you know that despite the ritual succeeding, because if you fail, then you're gonna have to try again, or if you really, really botched the job, everything is ruined and you have to start over. You know that a homunculus cannot remain animate if it is farther than about 100 yards from the vampire who created it. So you are not quite sure if the ritual succeeded and was just interrupted at the last second, and that thing is an actual homuncular servant, or if the person was in the process of doing it and they got interrupted.
Okay, Folly, we have a very peculiar situation with your already peculiar house.
Go on.
So George here is a homunculus. Now, George may have been completed and their owner has gone to the great beyond. In which case, there are rituals to retie a homunculi to an individual. That can be done. Or the animating ritual did not complete. Either way, that George is a homunculus. Now, my question to you, Ms. Winters, is do you want George to be part of your life?
Everything right there? You know, the feeling I was going for was supposed to be gross. It was supposed to gross people out.
Gross, but then it said semen, followed by tourists.
Bumped into a
Although
what?
George Clooney's hot, so you know.
Your
Semen,
pitch is
you
too
said
high.
Semen, and then you said pumped into, and then you said spat and pumped into it.
Yeah,
And
it wasn't like, oh, blood, semen, urine, this all pumped in. It was this semen pumped into his body, and I just couldn't. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
It was the combination. I was doing okay. I just snickered at the last one, but then you said the next words, and I broke. Hi. Hi.
Have I mentioned this is what happens when Lindy and I play on the same side of the screen?
Well, now I know which combination of words to either avoid or put into more games.
Yes. I just wasn't expecting that specific terminology. Now it's really hot in this room.
Apparently, hashtag semen pump can completely derail things.
I tried really hard. Oh, sorry. So, she looks at it being kind of gross. Again, like the first one. This is nowhere fresh. And I think even if it was fresh, it would still be pretty gross. I'm laughing so hard, I'm shaking.
So I shouldn't also say that the cocktail of fluids needs to be massaged into the thing, right?
Yeah, no, I think you couldn't have gotten worse than what you said. So I think we're already
Pumping and massaging. We're moving past that.
You have to ease it into the anyway.
Okay. So, do you think George is awake?
I am not entirely well. I know that George is not currently animate.
Oh, good. So I can say things and George won't hear me.
It depends on if it actually has an animus tied to it, in which case it's inert, but it might be still able to hear.
Okay. This is where George is at. George is kind of cool.
Yeah, but do you want George to be part of your life, or would you like me to find George a new home?
You seem to know a lot about homunculi. Homunculuses? Homunculus.
Homunculi.
Homunculi. Okay. Are there any benefits to having one, or are they just
Daytime guardian.
okay?
They will give you a means of alert should something come onto the property whilst you're in slumber.
Okay.
They also, with certain peculiarities of blood, you can use them as a scout.
Okay.
And with modification of George, we can actually have him be able to do small household tasks.
You don't make it sound terrible. What kind of upkeep does George require?
George will require a number of things aside from just kickstarting this ritual, which is disgusting. No, a little bit of vitae on the regular.
No, not anymore.
Okay.
With your successes, so there are two things about this ritual.
Okay.
The homunculus, once created, is loyal to the creator and the creator alone.
I see.
There might be a way to pass that on but you would need to inquire with an actual necromancer for that. The other thing is, it can do just about anything that its little body
That doesn't
can
require thumbs. Yes.
No, you could, stitch human hands
We
to
can
it.
give
and
it-
Little
it'll work.
raccoon hands.
We can give him hands.
Yes.
Um,
They even if they don't have ears or eyes, they can see and hear as a person with unimpeded vision and hearing might. They can also, from time to time, telepathically broadcast a single image to you.
Oh.
They are as hardy as a vampire to the same things that vampires are resistant and or weak against, except that they are immune to sunlight.
Oh. Okay.
Um,
Well.
And even if it lacks the means to do so, a homunculus can can scale walls like a spider.
So just eat some vitae every now and then, like how
Oh.
regular.
not that regular with this model. My
This
necromancy's a bit. My necromancy's a bit.
bit rough.
Well,
Well, I guess
I
we could
haven't
see-
done any necromancy for at least 3 decades, so
Yeah. Mm,
it's a skill that you kind of have to keep up with.
I see. Well, we could see if George is awake. Has
I'm-
been activated.
Well, again, its loyalty is to whoever created it, if the creation took hold.
Well, I guess
and-
that's what we need to find out.
Well, if
Because
there's
if the creations already took hold, then we should probably.
yeah, well, there's a quick little way of being able to figure this out. I'm going to go back downstairs and grab a broom because there's a broom on every work site.
Oh,
Oh,
so
yeah.
many rooms. Yeah.
And I'm going to go up and I'm going to poke George.
George.
We're being scientific.
When you poke it, it moves a little under the strength
Yeah.
of your
The poking.
poke, and whatever was behind it dislodges and falls. This hunting knife
Hmm.
smeared in
Ah.
like a brownish coat of, it almost looks like rust from over here. You get the impression that the construction crew didn't touch anything in this room.
This
Yeah.
room, they were too
They
wigged
broke
out.
the
They're like, what
walls.
the Victorian hellhole is this?
And yeah.
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 Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm. Probably shouldn't put this on the blog.
Well, give me a second. I'm going to make a phone call.
All right. Make one of my. I'll do some
I'm going-
texting.
I'm actually going to call Alex.
I'm gonna Google Lucky Dixon while he's calling Alex.
Ooh, Mr. Dixon, what would one find as common information about you?
Nothing under that name.
Oh.
Yeah.
Lucky Dixon does not exist.
Ooh.
At one
You
point in time,
probably
but that was a long
you
time ago.
probably do find a couple Chippendale strippers who are not local to
Probably.
Montreal. But if you just
But
click in
I'm like,
Google, you're gonna-
San Antonio. Oh, Las Vegas.
Thunder from Down Under?
Hey, Alex. Long time no
He's not
talk.
Oh,
like fall.
hey, Arthur, I'm with Flory right now.
Yeah, that's awesome. Don't piss her off. Quick question. Do you happen to know a local necromancer in town?
A local what?
Necromancer.
No, I don't think we have any of those here, unless somehow Valois is also knowledgeable
Again,
about this.
Necromancy is a study, while there is a particular clan that specializes in it, the proliferation of its treatises and many forms of practice go beyond just kindred society.
You're using a
Expand
lot
your
of big
horizons.
words.
Yeah, and which would be covered in the classes that you keep missing.
I haven't been invited to a lot of classes. I sat down with Diana like once last week. But anyway, I don't think there. I mean, so back in those days,
Yeah.
there were a lot of like Walking Dead.
Yeah.
But they're gone now. I think they're all gone.
You think that, but oftentimes,
Well,
they're
I
just
mean,
sleeping.
not Walking Dead like we are, but you know, like zombies, like the Walking Dead, like the comic.
Yeah. No, the animating of shells is actually really easy if you know what you're doing.
I wouldn't know. I can't do half of what you guys are doing anyway.
Yeah,
But
you need to take those classes.
yeah, look, if you're talking about any of that like magic stuff, if it's not me, that might be Valois. But honestly, I don't know. I haven't seen any of those Italian guys or the Scottish guys here. Or
They're more than Italian and Scottish. There is a wide world of necromancy and a wide world of necromantic practitioners amongst the kindred.
Yeah, but for the most part here,
horizon.
it was just they had an Italian or a Scottish accent. And they didn't stay long either. Most of them left.
The Italians, you might be able to chat up and learn something. The Scots, leave them the hell alone and don't stay in their company long. They're very hungry. So with that, I bid you a good day. Keep Flory happy, because I want you to stay alive, Alex. Talk to you later.
Hi, Folly.
And as you hang up, we'll pan the camera, like we'll skip over town to Flory and Alex. He hangs. That was Artie.
Yeah, I heard.
Okay, so remind me again.
What about?
What did you need me to do for you?
Introduction, Melvin. I need a guy.
Yes, we're going there. I didn't call him, but I don't think it's going to be a problem.
Okay, where are we going?
Oh, his place.
Directions, child.
Yes. Just take St. Cap, just head towards downtown.
Okay.
And then
she'll put the car in full reverse and spin it and then drive away. Just because she can.
So basically it's he lives a little bit past downtown.
Mm-hmm.
But he will guide you to his condo, which is almost a straight line from Alex's pawn shop. Quite a sort, like, I mean, it's walkable. Could probably do it in about a half hour.
Mm-hmm.
But he brings you up to there, and he's like, "Yep, the parking is over here," and he lives up there.
Okay, good. You're going now. This is lesson number 3. You provide the introduction. Come on, let's go.
Gets out the car, goes up with you.
By the way, I appreciate the present. You're doing a very good job.
Cool. That's good to hear, because Arthur says that I'm skipping on classes, but I'm trying very hard, actually. It's just no one wants to talk to me.
Okay, well, we'll work on that.
Yeah, because, unless it's to ask me for something, people tend to avoid me completely, so.
Now, to be fair, I've been very busy cleaning up a whole lot of messes.
That's what a lot of people say.
She will stop on the middle of, the stairwell and look at him and go, "Did you clean up somebody having a frenzy in public in downtown? Did you have to murder a guy for stalking someone? Did you have to make sure that this little shit who's running around dressed as the princeling didn't murder somebody?"
No, because no one's going to ask me to do anything.
Oh, that's
important.
Don't worry. I'm going to ask you to do a lot now. And she'll put an arm around him and bring him up.
He feels... you can see a genuine beginning of a smile on his face.
Mm-hmm.
but also a little bit of worry in his eyes.
So you're doing halfway okay with being a fence. Now we need to get you involved in smuggling and arranging how to pack things in certain ways so that they're not obvious when they cross the border. That'll be your next lesson.
Oh, I kind of got that under control, I think. There's a lot of the shit that I have that's not supposed to be here.
Oh, no, child. People, not things.
Oh, I don't deal in people. That's... No. I don't...
Oh. We liberate people from... Shh, we'll talk.
Yeah, okay. And as you climb up the stairs...
We get rid of bodies that way.
You happen upon Melvin's condo. Alex was going to point and say we're here, but in mid-sentence, the door opens and sorry about that. A broad-shouldered black guy, just wearing like a gray t-shirt over dirty cargo pants. He's tied up his dreadlocks in a ponytail. He just opens the door, sort of puts like his head out. You're late.
I
And
apologize.
He leaves the door open and walks back in.
Hold on. Lesson number 4. Always agree with the Malkavian.
Hey, Melvin. Hey, kid.
Introduction.
Melvin, this is, and he goes, Florica Winters.
Pleasure. I'm trying to teach the young one the appropriate ways to do things, though.
Art repatriator.
It is what is on the ID.
It's a good thing you did not keep the quotes.
No. I did think about it, though. I think it was on the business card I left in the front blessed pocket of that little puppet princeling.
You like to stir up shit, just like the rest of probably your entire family.
You say that.
He sits down at his like computer desk, at his computer chair, like gives it a spin, and points to like a dirty mattress. And he's like, "You can sit down if you want."
She doesn't, but she'll go and lean against the wall. And it's not the mattress that's the problem, it's the line of sight.
Alex looks around the condo and just asks Melvin, like, where's all your stuff? He's like, oh, pawned it. Not with you, though. Thanks for asking.
Gambling debts or really bad problems with another NOS?
Bad vibes coming from my stuff. I didn't like the way they looked at me.
Never hold on to stuff that gives you bad vibes. Always a good plan.
So, you are here tonight because you are looking for something.
Someone, but good.
Close enough. Ooh.
The salubri.
Afraid you're gonna have to be a little more precise.
Do you know Hetty broadly?
Heard the name. I think part of the old tenants of this place. I mean, not. But. And he makes a wider circle with his finger.
Damien Black.
It's another name I've heard before.
They're salubri.
I seem to recall them existing here. I mean, just before my time, but there's no one I can't really track down, or nothing I can't really track down. That might help.
Also, have you had a chance to look at this little princeling yet?
No, word is not to meddle with him, or talk to him, or be in his line of sight.
He's a meat suit for a Samish.
Everyone's a meat suit for something.
True, but I meant this in a little more literal manner.
Would that change a lot from the old owners of this place?
Well, she's playing at being a Camarilla.
From what I recall, Strathcona was playing at being Sabat. And he was
Strathcona
Ventrue.
was just playing with himself, let's be honest.
If himself counts a lot of us as well. Anyway, he's gone. And that new prince is, well, bad news one way or another.
Also true.
But for my own safety, I am not going to meddle with the aristocracy.
Oh
Power
no,
to
that
the
was my
people.
point. Don't meddle with the aristocracy. And don't think that the little shithead that's playing... Wait, player question.
Yeah.
Because Martin Hilkers... Yeah, he's Ventrue. Because don't come across that little Ventrue. He's actually a Samitian hiding.
Well, that is good to know. I think your pal would like to know that too, unless he knows already.
Which
Does
one?
he? Guy from Florida keeps talking about being old blood and all that.
Artie?
Yeah. No one but the Tsamich says old blood.
That's not true. I have known a couple former Giovanni who said it. Admittedly
Probably meat
mockingly,
suits.
but.
Give me that phone number. I'll do what I can. However, what do I get out of this?
Now we get to have fun. Lesson number 6, young one. Negotiations.
You skipped number 5.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you said 4 earlier.
I know.
And then 5 was not there.
Wasn't it?
No? He's confused. Alex is very confused.
5 was the very pleasant conversation that you noticed that we didn't have any negotiations about the information I just gave this very kind gentleman for free. Because there's no reason to negotiate for that. It's forewarning and forearmed. It's not a favor. It's important information to be shared and spread.
Okay, so share and spread 4 warnings. Got it.
Exactly. Other things that you remember to forewarn for people. If you see the Inquisition, you warn everyone. You don't hold that shit in. Don't play with them.
Yeah, but we all know they're here.
Yeah, but there's a difference between being here and being like, ooh, I see the Inquisition walking down the street, right? Like, those are two different things.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'll
And you
probably be
telling
the last
somebody-
one on their list. Because, you know, everyone forgets me anyway.
No, unfortunately, that would not be true. They're more likely to go in the other order.
He, like, takes this half step back. Melvin chuckles and says, so what do I get out of this?
I give you 2 options, Melvin. Both of them valid, both of them fair. I can get 1 person of your designation out of this city, sight unseen, unknown. Option number 2, I can get someone of your designation, sight unseen, into this city.
In the state of my choosing. It didn't really sound like a question.
As long as it does not bring harm to me in the state of your choosing.
Define bringing harm to you. If I ask someone torpored to be let in or out.
Oh, that's easy. I meant physical harm to me. If I have to carry somebody, if you want them to be torpored, that's just business, darling. I do that for fun and business. But if you want me to carry like a plague victim in or out, no, that I'm gonna get sick from it. No way.
No, but if I ask you to bring a kindred out of the city safely.
In torpor or conscious, your choice.
Good. I can agree to that.
Lesson number 7. Youngling.
Huh? Alex is slightly distracted because the GM is also typing in
slightly
the favor.
Distracted.
Yeah,
Exactly. I will wait.
No, go ahead.
Lesson number 7. Unless it's very, very important, never give open-ended favors.
No, I try to get open-ended favors from people. Those are the best. Like when they say, I'll owe you one, and they don't say anything else. Ka-ching.
And you cash those in early, don't you?
There's a couple I haven't cashed yet. The thing is, I don't know how long I have. So it's not like I can keep them for, 50 years or anything.
You can. You should.
Thing is, I might not be there in 50 years. So I cashed them in so I can keep surviving.
We'll work on your survival tasks. And she'll hand just a simple business card that she's written down the Salubri's last number that she would have probably gotten from Casimir.
That's some old number shit.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll start with that. I'll look things up. He takes the card and flips it around as if he's trying to see if there isn't a third side to this piece of paper.
Lemon juice, darling. Always lemon juice.
He looks at you like you're basically saying that the sky is blue. It's not what I was going for. And he puts it on his keyboard. It'll take me a couple of nights probably, depending on how, what state they're in now.
We're ticking boxes at this point. But thank you very much.
How do I reach you?
She will leave the Flory phone number.
Okay, not the Florica, but the real one, basically.
Not the direct burner to Zalmati, but the business.
Yeah.
The
Yours.
murder phone. She'll leave the murder phone number.
Okay. I'll keep you posted. He slaps his knees as he gets up and he says, I have to go out for lunch first. And then I can get to work. And as he says that, he smirks a bit and you can see the fangs begin to appear.
Have a pleasant night. Enjoy and avoid the druggies. They're being really weird lately. And she'll just she'll put an arm around Alex and walk out.
So did I do good?
You did fine. And now
cool.
We're going to teach you how to do a murder. Come on.
What? And with that, we're going to pan to Mr. Dixon.
I had one thing I wanted to tell you, that within that week, Lucky would have sort of had a written message you would have put in a dead drop spot that Antonio might know, because they knew each other back when, and Antonio left once Lucky went and met with the Anarchs.
Yep.
And so he just would have left a note saying, I'm not staying at the house. They should be moving. City's dangerous. Stay safe. Right? Just sort of left that to him so that he knows that
Cool.
Lucky's not in that space anymore.
Noted.
Because Dixon does not know where Antonio is, which is probably good for everybody all involved. But he just wanted to let him, give him that update in
Cool.
case he was going to try to come back around. Uh-huh.
So,
And
yes.
yes,
What are you up to tonight? It's been a week since you've been laying low. And, well, so far, the heat seems to be gone.
oh, vampires have a long patience. A week is nothing. If they want to get you, they can wait months. This is, that's how they do, right? It's the long con. So, I mean, he just, he continues with his business, right? He he lays low. He does what he can to sort of just make sure that Little Italy, like he's on his patrol, as it were, to make sure Little Italy is safe, that the security is good, and what he has done before, right? Make sure he gets to sleeps at a different spot each time, each night. Never sleep in the same spot twice. But just sort of try to make sure that Artie's territory is
Safe.
secure, safe and secure.
Okay. In that case, give me just a second. Can you make wits and awareness for me?
Hmm.
That will be for the the entire evening, the entire night. Your patrol and all that. Yes.
I should get a bonus because of our portillon, which I think, or at least that's a negative against people coming at us, I think. For that.
Yes, let me just check Portillon for a sec. That would be in...
So it doesn't add to my pools. It usually acts as a resistance trait. So just
Yeah, but that is something that they need to, if they want to infiltrate the thing. However, this is for... That awareness check will be for everything, even before and after you are in your territory.
2 of 2.
2 of 2. Okay, thank you. I will keep that in mind. We'll get back to Dixon in a sec. Because first, I need to quickly BRB, and then we'll be back with Folly and Arthur.
Okay, everyone.
So-
the GM
so-
is now gone, so place your
Yes.
bets.
Oh dear.
I bet that
Everything's
If
fine.
the
Rainbows.
No.
if the homunculus were more aesthetically pleasing, Folly would have been all about it. Like if it just weren't
Oh,
super
If
creepy.
it was glamorous, but he did
Yeah,
say we could change its hands, so we might be able to zhuzh it up a bit. Folly is currently in favor of keeping George Clooney.
Right. I mean, George
Just
Clooney
as,
does
you know.
Oscars.
We're
think-
going to give George a facelift.
are we going-
George will
are-
need a facelift. Yes.
Look, I figured if it's Folly, Folly is the type of person that if she had an actual dog, would take it to the groomers every other week and would be that standard poodle that would be perfectly shaved and like standard poodle like way, but tie-dyed.
I think she'd be more like a spaniel, like a cocker spaniel, something classic.
Because she's from
but a little
the
froofy.
20s.
Yeah.
So it could be like a little terrier, like a little Scottish terrier.
Yeah.
Mm.
Because right now she has a tortoise and a cat. She kind of goes for lower maintenance things. So homunculus doesn't seem like super high maintenance, which was her biggest concern because she's high maintenance. So she doesn't need things in her life that are high maintenance because she's enough.
She wants balance.
Apologies for this. I am back.
Hey.
And we're back to Arthur and Folly.
Arthur was on the phone having that conversation. I was
Yeah.
dropping eaves, obviously. But while I was doing that, I'm looking for like a homunculus, How to Homunculi 1897 edition by Necro McMancy, or whatnot. Maybe there's an instruction manual, a creepy old diary. I'm just looking for a room while he's on the phone, and I'm listening, just seeing.
Looking at the room, you notice that it used to be plastered with old newspaper. It also might just have been, as insulation.
Yeah.
Can
I catch
but
a year on the papers?
it's yellowed with time. Most of it is faded away. But you're a Malkavian.
I am.
So I would say in that instance.
Yep. And I think I have. I'll turn on my heightened senses so I can see if there's any signs of life or things. Just see if I can notice anything extra in this room, because this is a thing in a room and it's sus.
Yes, but also you.
I don't need George to jump me if he has been previously created, or if he's not quite there yet. We might add George Clooney to Fred Astaire and Paul.
When you run your fingers on what little writing is left on these newspapers,
Mm-hmm.
you see brief flashes of, without the article being legible, you see brief flashes of what they were about.
Okay.
Just in one instance, you see half, like the lower half, the body of a man with a butcher knife walking in the street. The knife is leaking what you're probably certain is blood. In another, you see this beachhead that is empty, save for a person just kneeling on it. The picture is taken from quite a distance. On another one, it's just a bright sunshine. It almost hurts, even though it lasts like just a flash. On another, you hear a lot of cries. You see humans, mortals, digging out an unfathomable amount of people from the ground, like unearthing a mass grave.
What, if I get a glimpse of these people, what era clothing are they wearing?
Oh boy, give me
1800s,
2 seconds. Yeah, it would
1910s,
either
1920s, 40s.
it might be
yeah.
1910s. Give me just a sec.
Just so she can, because she lived through all of that.
Interesting.
And fashion changed.
1910s.
Yeah,
Mhm.
pre-1900 fashion doesn't change quite as frequently as post-1900 fashion. So that's a
Unless you're super rich, in which case you do whatever weirdness you want to do.
yeah. But even
they
then,
get
the
flighty.
base structures
Yeah.
stayed very similar. You didn't need different corsets for your outfits from 1830 to 1850, whereas you needed different corsets from 1900 to 1910.
Although I'll say those sleeves that came into fashion between like
it
in the
was
1890s
it
specifically.
was very much. Oh, I would love to. I might say Edwardian.
Oh yeah, so 1900s, 1910s, teens. Yeah,
No, it's
Victorian would be like 1890s.
it's before Victorian.
Before Victorian,
Although
so
Victoria
Gregorian,
reigned for like 100 years.
Regency?
Regency.
Because she was around for a long
It
time.
might be Regency. Give me 2
What?
seconds. Victorian
1830s.
era is 18. No, it would be Victorian. It would be
Okay,
Victorian
yeah, but
because
also,
it's
there's a span of Victorian stylings that go through
Yeah.
all of Queen Victoria's reign, but
yes.
Yeah, no.
We are
Vicky was
looking
around
at
for a while.
early Victoria's reign.
Oh, so like 1850s, 60s, that kind of thing.
In-
Interesting.
in
So
that,
it
yeah.
predates the house, which is interesting.
Yes.
Hmm.
That she finds that interesting. She's like, oh. Okay, continue
There-
on. Sorry, I just had to ask
No,
about
no,
that
that's
flash 'cause
fine.
we saw people.
Flashes of this. There are flashes of just cars, older cars, early 20th century, driving down the main thoroughfares of Montreal. Everything that you witness as flashes is around that period of time. Basically, 1850 to 19. The most recent that you see is yeah, would be around 1910.
Okay.
And the last one that you have, basically, you see it's a flash of a boxer in a ring.
Oh. Okay.
A black guy fighting a white guy, and the flash is basically just him knocking the guy out. And then another flash of this same black boxer, dead in a street, blood pouring from his neck.
Okay. So I think Arthur would be off the phone. She would have been like done like pause and like hi Florrie, and then like keep going, just kind of passively listening and getting these glimpses. And, like, I'm sorry, isn't it fascinating that some of these newspapers predate the house being built? That one's a serial killer. That one's a lonely beach scene. That one is a whole lot of bodies being dug up. That one's a boxer, 1910s. It might be Jack. What was his name? Jack Johnson, something like that. No. She's just speculating. She wasn't particularly into boxing, so.
Need to get you by some of the old guys, let you learn the street science so you can actually enjoy it.
And she's pointing to
Cultural
newspapers
things.
that probably aren't legible.
No,
She's
none of
saying-
them. Actually, she's pointing at papers, and you notice some of them. There was at one point a photo on that front page, but it is, you know, it was a photo because it's a large square that looks like it had color.
A large, darker colored square.
Yeah.
With the white with the squiggles. Yeah.
This is not my first Malkavian. I just kind of
Yeah.
smile and nod.
Uh-huh. Didn't see a necromancy diary or like a homunculus for dummies 101 though. I did
Again,
check.
there's a lot of personality, the perspective of necromancy. Most of them are diaries. There's not really an instruction manual.
Well, I looked for that too, and I didn't see just newspapers.
Again, if you want something that's more instruction manual like, you're looking at like hermetics, and who does that?
Folly,
Yes,
can you give me
I
a
can.
yeah?
What would you like?
Let's go with resolve and aspects.
Ooh, resolve and aspects.
Yes.
Here for this. I clicked the dice. Why didn't you not let me roll? Oh, discipline aspects.
We'll say difficulty 2, but it varies.
Oh, that did not work. Oh, okay. Attributes. There we go. I figured it out. Resolve aspects. Difficulty 2. Have 5 successes out of 2.
Okay,
I have a lot of resolve.
this entire
Bit of
wall
aspects.
has one thing in common:
Okay.
death.
Yeah.
All of it is death. It's not just what you saw, it's even the things you didn't run your fingers along, the things you didn't
Mm-hmm.
see. This entire room is dedicated to death. Not just the act of, but the state and the pursuit.
Shrine of death.
Yeah, it's almost religious.
I think she just kind of gets a weird, like, spacey kind of look on her face for a moment. She's like, "Oh, this whole wall, no, the whole room. This whole room is kind of like a death shrine."
Yeah, that's usually where you can actually practice the necromancy.
Just giving big
Rooms
death
need to have a
vibes.
mood.
Well,
Yeah.
the mood of this one is death.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing.
I'm gonna look at George a bit more. George, have you
Now-
been activated?
Probably.
Yes.
Far from be it for me to pry, but do you have any interests in necromancy or other forms of ritual casting?
You know, I've not had any interest in those types of things. Haven't really thought about it. Not opposed.
Again, you can probably get a lot of clicks, not on the instructional side, but in doing some strange stuff with video.
Oh my goodness, yes, that could make for some great
And as
content.
long as it doesn't actually involve any necromancy of the blood, if it's just the folksy necromancy, you can get away with a lot more stuff.
Interesting.
So here or there. Well, that means that we're probably going to keep the room as is. I don't need to do a full cleansing.
Yeah.
But still, I'll have to think about George. I'm
Yes.
gonna call
Do you
Valwa
think
about
George
this.
is finished, or do you think George has a ways to go?
I take the broom and poke at trying to sweep
And make eye
the
contact
rusty
with George.
blade to me.
Mm-hmm.
George.
Get that
You-
out
you-
of the threshold of the room.
Bring it to you. It's an old.
I
Oh.
know you're still at the threshold. I'm like in the room touching. his
Give me a
face.
sec.
Yeah, no.
I'll help. Like once you get the knife a little bit away from George, I'll help kick it over to you. There.
Vancouver by night. If you just want to send me the link by DM and I'll post it, it'll probably be faster than
Ooh.
trying to undo AutoMud for all the list of all the actual plays. So to go back to this, it's an old Bowie knife. Part of the blade was filed off. You know how wide a Bowie knife is supposed to
Yeah.
be. And it looks like the actual blade part of it, the slashing part
Yeah.
of it, was filed off over time to the point where it's got a strange, almost Chris-like appearance.
Get stuff custom made. You don't do this sort of shit. You lazy fucking bastards.
Maybe they were just really
Cheapskates.
poor.
You do not scamp when it comes to using materials in a ritual fashion.
Look,
That's where you
I
actually
wouldn't,
spend the
but-
money.
But maybe this person did. Maybe that's why the homunculi maybe isn't finished because they were cheap.
Not only were they cheap, they had bad taste.
I'll say, and I'm just making intense eye contact with George.
All
George,
right. Oh, you poor thing.
George, are you done? Are you finished?
No,
George
I
looks
don't-
at you in an unfinished state.
no,
Ah.
George ain't finished.
Oh,
I'm pretty
good.
certain of that. It's just getting the materials, setting things up, waiting for the right moon, and
Mhm,
then
mhm.
completing the ritual to activate the George.
Do you know any necromancers?
Well, most of mine that I know. Wait, wonder if they're still alive.
That's a question. If they weren't vampires, then
No.
probably dead.
Like, well,
Mhm.
no, there were a few guys that liked to moonlight down Miami before
Oh.
things got nasty. Again, you know how the geos like to be independent.
Oh
Um,
yes.
no. Oh, now if I don't know if the old man's still kicking. Last I heard, he was back in Sicily. Okay. And I can't. He doesn't use anything but an actual house phone. Um,
Oh,
very set in his ways. Um,
it happens.
but I think I might be able to place a call and see if the old man's still up there. If he
think I
is,
just-
getting him to Montreal actually will probably be surprisingly easy. Yeah, it will be surprisingly easy because he's going to be interested in what was left behind. that is a future me problem. Current me problem is getting you a George. And if anyone can do it, Fredo can. So that's,
to know a lot of people.
well, Fredo's not people.
No.
No. Fredo is old school Sicilian mob necromancer.
Sounds charming.
He can be.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on whether or not he deigns you to be a person or not.
Ooh, exciting. That was how a lot of Hollywood was, also, to be fair.
Yeah, but his bad side is particularly nasty.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, Fredo was very much what he was, and his fangs didn't come in, but he still had to get the blood.
Interesting.
Yeah, Fredo's the reason why certain knife and knife-like things aren't allowed in New York anymore.
That was the concept of my very first VTM character, except he used a stainless steel straw with a sharpened end.
That would be too fancy for Fredo. Again, the old ways must be preserved.
Yes, it's like this house must be brought back to its historic glory.
Which is also part of the reason I wouldn't have to twist his arm much. Oh fuck, he is going to be digging through your crawl spaces trying to look for any sort of goodies or ghoulies.
He can dig through my crawl spaces if he wants. He sounds like a delightful individual.
Well, I mean, there are worse people to have mentor you in the old ways.
Could be fun. It sounds like it could be fun. You're making necromancy sound like a treat.
It allows you to be lazier. It really does. It, like, once you go through that first bit of that bell curve, then it's all downhill and it all becomes easy.
Well, life was easier when you could just, fuck your way to the top of Hollywood. But, you can't exactly do that now anymore.
Yes, but think about this. Servants you don't have to pay.
Yes. Well, yes.
Yeah.
I can get a lot of people to do things for free or to pay me to do them. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, but they're available 24/7.
Feet pictures.
I do not get the modern age.
It is so peculiar in a fascinating way. Yeah, so you contact this Fredo. And you wouldn't happen to know someone lucky. Right, it was Lucky. Do you? Lucky.
Why are you asking?
Dixon.
Folly?
Yes.
Why are you asking?
Well, because I need to give him a message.
Does this have to be delivered in person, or can it be done through proxy?
They didn't specify. I needed to
Okay.
make sure the recipient got the message. He did say I was good with people, though, so
Yeah, but this particular individual is wanting to remain anonymous.
that's no fun. I love meeting people.
He doesn't want folks messing in his business.
I don't want to mess
Doesn't
with his
want to be
business.
found.
I just want to see him and give him a message.
I'm afraid I can't help you with this one, Folly.
Oh.
I have been sworn to stay out of it. So if you can find him, by
text
all
Lori.
means deliver the message. Because my days meddling with his business are long.
I don't want to meddle in his business. I just want to tell him what someone told me to tell him.
Yeah, well, you can. I am
very
certain
nicely.
if anyone can, you can find it.
Pretty good at things. I'm texting Flory as we speak. I'm like,
Mhm.
Flory, do you know where I can find Lucky? Just text.
Why? You
just
understand? I might know where you can find him, but why do you need to know?
Oh, I just need to give him a message.
Well, if you
So
give it
that
to
I
me, then
can-
I'll give it to him.
Oh, but if I give him the message, then the sheriff will owe me a favor.
Oh.
Hmm.
So how about we work this out so that the sheriff owes you a favor, but I get to let Lucky know why this is going to happen.
What? You're just gonna...
Are you at the house?
Yes, I'm at the house with Arthur. We found a thing in a room.
Is that a thing you want in the room?
I think so.
Well, make sure you confirm, because sometimes those things also carry diseases.
Oh, it definitely might. But I'll be the boss of it.
Alex
Are you
is
sure?
Miss Flory.
Just
Should you really
texting.
be texting and driving at the same time?
Of course.
I know I can survive flying through the windshield. I don't think
you
I
have
want
a
to.
seatbelt. This car came with flat belts. You're so lucky.
I'll be like, Arthur's making necromancy sound like fun.
Ugh, just make sure you get the cleansing done first. Never do a necromancy in someone else's ritual space. You never know what they left behind, if they cleaned up after themselves or
Ooh.
not.
It's a kind of messy in here.
No, I
Lots
would
of
totally
crusty fluids
cleanse the
and a
whole
death
thing.
shrine.
Cleanse the whole thing. You don't want to mess up a necromancy. You know?
We're thinking of bringing in an expert. Oh, but back to Lucky.
Okay. I'll let Lucky call you.
Oh, yes, please. Give him my number.
Okay, we'll do.
And there's and of course, lots of emojis with all of this. Like little skulls and coffins and, yeah, all sorts of things. Smiley faces.
And she'll just she's got a button that she's labeled folly emoji. Which is just so that she can button press, put a bunch of emojis at the bottom of thing to reply to Folly. And she goes, and that's how you deal with a Malkavian. Hold on. And then she'll click on she'll click on the phone and call Lucky.
Lucky will not answer the phone, but he will see the phone, and he will then make his way over to Artie's house.
Why is he not answering the phone?
I don't know. Doesn't Lucky use an old phone?
Oh no, I got him a new one.
Isn't Lucky old? I remember something about.
She will straight up backhand him.
Yeah!
It's a good thing you didn't say that in front of Folly. That's all I'm saying.
You do not discuss some person's age.
I think he predates theaters, like movie theaters.
And she'll punch him in the shoulder.
Most of us do.
But it's kind of normal for you
Alex?
people.
Alex? No. I'm in the car. This car is older than you.
Yes, a lot of you are older than me. I know that. I'm being reminded nightly.
If you start calling Lucky old, think about who else you might be implying that might be old, who might be older than him. And she'll punch him in the shoulder again.
We're immortal. Who cares? That should be the point.
Women from the 1920s. We care.
Women who are older than Lucky.
Alex was born in like... Oh, Alex was born in like, what? In the 60s or so, because
Yeah, the car
he was embraced in the 80s.
Yeah, so the car is older than him.
Yeah.
I ask
My
woman,
curse.
regardless of her supernatural type, her weight, or her age.
Don't do this. Do not do. It's like, and she's just like having this full-on lecture about how you don't ask about their age. You never insult somebody for being old. Don't you have any manners? Like, I thought your mother raised you better than that. I'm weird.
I was
We
pretty
can
much
have a
raised
seance.
by the mean streets of Montreal.
We will have a seance, and I will talk to your grandmother about this. I know a person who can. So,
You don't need a... She's still alive.
Oh. then we'll go talk to her. We can have this conversation.
I don't think so. She's pretty much... Well, last I checked my parents' Facebook page, that she's... Yeah, you might need a seance.
I know three. And she'll just, it's like, we're going to go to Artie's. And then she'll just drive to Artie's. And she'll say to Florrie's like, send Artie to the house, back to his house when he gets a chance.
Oh. Flory, texting Flory. Hope you're reaching out to Fredo.
I will go to my house, use the landline to leave a message on his answering machine.
Can I come with? I cleared my whole evening.
Doesn't have a stream, like
All right, you will be a guest in my home.
now she knows where you live.
Just
Nice.
don't treat everything like how you would how you treated George before he introduced you.
I hadn't met George until you introduced me.
Yes, most of my house is somewhat active.
Exciting.
Oh, it really is. It's meant to keep very nasty things out.
All right. Well, I will be on my best behavior.
See that you do. I don't want to be picking
Usually
40 bits out of my ceiling.
Oh no, that sounds
Folly
amazing.
bits out of my ceiling.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And I'll message Flora back like, hey, sending Artie back to his house. I think we're done here for tonight. I'm coming with.
When you leave the house, you're
Like, don't
pretty
worry, Gerard,
certain it's
we're going
relieved.
to do something about George.
You're fairly certain the house is relieved when you leave.
It's just not appreciated.
As I'm walking out, I'm just going to turn back over and say to the house, I'm bringing in a professional. We will probably absolutely adore one another. Just don't get too freaked out when he starts doting on the crawl spaces. It's part of his charm.
Arthur, you're not well versed in the language of houses and real estate in general, but you're fairly certain that it shivered in anticipation.
Okay.
Oh, someone in my crawl spaces. Finally.
It could just be that there was a breeze, but
Oh.
the manor is a strange place.
So is Fredo. It's going to be a time. So
do we want to like carpool or should I follow you?
I'll drive.
Okay.
Yeah, we brought the for tonight, considering I might had to work. This is the 55 Chevy truck.
Oh, nice.
All right.
About 30 years newer than my favorite car. Classy though. I like it.
And you make your
Thing is,
way. Oh,
You can easily soup this up with a decent old carb, and it'll go.
I imagine. But it's very
You-
useful. Good working horse car.
make your way to Little Italy.
My driving glasses.
I figured. They're just as big as Arthur's car's headlights.
Yes.
Dixon gets there first, seeing how he was already patrolling Little Italy. Flory would get there second. Flory, where would you find Dixon when you arrive?
I would be out of the way so that mortals can't see me. So probably, and of course, would not go into the house without Artie there. So I'm probably out like in the back somewhere, so I'm not visible, so that people who might be out and about wouldn't just be able to see me. I'm probably like parked. There's some sort of not from the street visible spot. That's probably. I don't know if he's got like a. I don't know if he's got.
Well, remember he had a
security.
He has a garage, and there is I believe the garage was on the first floor. Or was it a basement garage?
It was a basement garage.
Basement garage. So there's always the slope that goes into the garage, and
Yeah.
you could just park there. I mean,
Yeah.
it's fairly normal
That's
for
probably where
someone
I'm
to
at.
park an extra car outside if
Yeah.
you don't have room.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. So probably like parked in the downslope, so you probably won't just see me when you're driving about, just waiting
I
for
think-
Artie to show up.
I think it would, because the thing is, Flory's gonna pull around, see you parked in the downslope, push the clicker on the garage door to pop Artie's garage door, and she'll lean out the window and say, "I need you to move the car inside."
He'll sort of like move forward and then back out to give you this. Do you have a? First off, hold on, Artie. Do you have a 1 or a 2 opening garage? 2, so you can just drive right by.
Yeah, but she doesn't. She still tells you this, even though she doesn't actually need to.
Well, then he'll pull out back onto the street so you have your way in.
Yeah,
Ladies
but
first,
as you
after
do this, she goes, "Okay," and she'll like roll the window up, and she'll like, lesson number 8: never conduct business in public in a language that people can understand. And she'll park the
What?
car, and then
What am I doing here?
you're still in lessons, child. Come on. And
But-
then she'll get out and stand in front of the door, waiting for Lucky.
Okay.
Lucky's gonna like come back and hit in the slope, and I'll go like, gotta wait for Artie to get here.
You can come in without him. That's what we have permission for his haven for. And she's
Mm.
talking in cant only.
Yeah. And he goes, I don't like it.
Yeah, but sometimes you need to be out of the way so that we can have these conversations away from public.
Right, but if this is an Artie conversation, shouldn't he be here?
No, it's a you conversation. That's why I called you.
There's a lot of finger pointing going on.
Yes.
I don't understand a single. I don't know what languages you speak.
This is intentional. Shh. Adults are talking.
Who's in the car with you?
It's Alex.
No, Alex
'cause,
is standing
my
next to
car,
her.
your car.
Uh.
Oh, you come out of the car.
Yeah, I've come out of the
I
car.
thought we were-
Alex.
He goes, well, get in the car. I'll rope the windows.
Okay. Well, just get in the house.
I don't like to be. I don't like to be in his house and his house if he's not here.
And I think that's when he pulls
Then
up,
when you
and
pull
like
up-
the entire thing is filled
No,
up
no.
with car.
She
Because
parked
she's
the
parked
car
inside.
and got out.
Okay.
And she's leaning like on the door of his car to
Yeah.
say, "Get."
It's just, tailgate party at
Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
3
she's like,
a.m.
Oh,
Over
it looks like
Artie's.
everyone's here. Who's
All
Flory
right,
talking
Motley
to?
Crew, let's get inside.
Hello, Mr.
Yeah,
Porter.
Okay, come along. All right.
Hi, Alex. We'll talk about lessons in a bit.
Oh, I'm working on it.
This
We're up
is
to number
all-
9.
Oh, good.
In car. And he waits for Artie and whoever's in the car to drive in, and then he will follow in afterwards.
Yeah, it's strange. Every one of your coterie is bringing a redhead along.
That's weird.
A redhead
goes
with
like,
glasses.
Oh, Polly! As soon
He's
as
like-
Polly steps out of the car, the glasses are off. They're just for like the vehicle driving.
Oh.
Like they're her car glasses, purely for fashion.
And then Dixon sort of steps out of the car and he sort of looks to see what's going on and he sees Folly and he goes, I know you.
Are you a fan?
You're Miss Lamar.
Oh gosh, an original
were-
fan.
You were in the Three Musketeers.
Did you like it?
Lady De Winter, that was you. You were amazing. It was
Thank you.
I was given permission to go to the silent pictures. It was like only one of the few times I've been. It was very good though.
Well, I'm so glad you enjoyed it. I lived for the cinema. I'm trying to get back into it, you know. It's very
Oh,
market's changed. Not by that much, though, honestly. Let's be frank.
oh,
Who are you? I must know such a dedicated longtime fan's name.
well, it's not really all that dedicated. There's a short window before
You
You know.
recognize me. Not many people are living that can still do that, so
not
Okay.
really living.
I got the vibe. Same.
No, yes, of course, because you don't look a day over 1916.
You're not supposed to talk about the age.
It was
She died in like
complimenting the lady.
1926, so she's like, oh,
What,
like, oh, you.
I'll explain. I'll
The
explain.
lesson-
I'll explain.
Okay.
And she'll like lean over and be like, 10 years he shaved off. He's very smart about that. Pay attention to that one.
Sorry, and he holds out his hand. You can call me Dixon.
Lovely to meet you, Dixon. I'm going by currently Folly Watson. You can call me Barb, though, if you like.
Oh, thank you, Miss. Also, Wally Watson. I've heard that name. And he looks to Artie because he thinks he remembers hearing
Yeah,
Artie talk about giving.
I showed up with him. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
No, but because it's like Artie had said something about giving the house to a Folly Watson. He has no idea who that is. He's like,
Yeah.
didn't I hear that name?
Yeah, she's the one with the house. It has issues.
Artie and I are
Wait.
friends.
Why would you? Oh, I'm sorry, Miss Watson. That house is dangerous.
Well, not so dangerous, especially now that we found the death aspect in the house.
There's like a little death shrine in there. It's very kitsch, very 1910s.
There's
The house
a
has got
not
like
finished homunculus, which is probably one of the reasons.
I'm calling the
why-
house Gerard. We are not on amazing terms right now, but he's mostly just giving me the cold shoulder. But once I fix him up, I'm sure he'll get over it.
I'm going to call again, looking to Flora. I'm going to call Fredo and see if I can't twist his arm to come out here and address the house.
Do you want me to
Miss-
call Tali first? To,
No, this is going to be a. Polly's interested in necromancy, and the old man just loves new students.
I said it before. Cleanse before. It's like any new surface. And then she'll like walk over to Folly and be like, "Look, it's like if you went into anybody else's bedroom. You always change the sheets before you do anything."
Yeah, wipe down the couch, dining room table. Oh, yes.
Yeah, all the same. Exactly.
There's going to be a lot of bleach involved, but
Mm,
it's going to be all
for
right.
now, I'll just curtain off that area with some plastic until the
Yeah. This is one of those times you get the good yellow visqueen and put like the caution, do not enter tape over it.
Yes, I'm going to put like
Yeah.
something about the historical society that'll keep them from getting in there.
Brilliant.
I am.
Asbestos is always works. But because teaching the youngling manners.
Oh yes, and who is this?
I'm Alex Samard. I run a pawn shop if you need anything. I'm pretty good with stuff.
Well, Alex, it's nice to meet you. I'm Folly Watson.
Yeah, you're on YouTube.
I am. Are you a fan?
Not
Are you
really,
liked and
no.
Subscribed.
I don't do makeup. Ow! I don't do makeup. She does makeup. I don't really care.
She does a lot
She
of
does a
things.
lot of other things too.
I don't know. All I see are the makeup tutorials.
Hmm.
You need to work on your algorithms there, Alex.
We're in 2014, Arthur. Algorithms don't exist
Lori's
yet.
like, remember
Yes, they
lesson
do.
4?
Yes, they
Always
do.
agree with the milk.
That's what she says is like, I thought we talked about lesson number 4.
Oh, you're one of those. Oh, yes. I am a fan then. Everything you say, yes.
So, continuing his lessons for lesson number 1, which was pleasant introductions. Dixon, occasionally called Lucky. Folly Watson, occasionally called. Wait, Deirdre just blanked on
Barbara?
Lamar. Barb Lamar. Wishes to convey a message. This is how polite introductions are done.
Dixon, yes, I do have a message for you. So,
Okay.
the sheriff, what was his
Wait,
name?
one moment. Should we?
Oh,
if
yes,
you-
we should
yeah.
go outside.
Inside.
We're already inside.
We're inside, but
We're inside,
Oh.
but more
Yeah.
inside.
Dixon
More
wants to take
inside.
Miss Watson away from the rest of the group, or whatever this
Okay.
message might be.
Yeah, she'll be
So
fine with that.
they
Yeah, like
would not
Flori-
hear whatever
Flori-
it
Flori's
is.
That's
Flori's
fine.
point to then Alex was, this is now you've introduced them, you've arranged the introduction, and now we walk away.
Now we get the
Mhm.
fuck out.
But
Yeah.
we walk away, but stay within shouting distance in case we need to come rescue you from
Mhm.
being stabbed.
In
Yes.
case there's stabbings.
In case there's
So,
stabbings.
Mr. Dixon, I just have a little message for you. What was his name? Caleb. Yes, Caleb, the sheriff. He approached me on the down low earlier, saying he had a message for you. I'm pretty sure it's an off the books thing, like it's a him thing and not like any Camarilla princely prince thing, sheriffy thing.
Mm,
He said he wants to meet up with you. And it didn't
funny.
seem like in a kind of a threatening way. And he specifically said this is not in any way a threat and he does not wish to end your own life. And I got the vibes from him that that was true and it's kind of an off the books thing.
Okay, so thank you for conveying that message, Miss Lamar. I have something to tell you. That host is dangerous.
What do you know about Gerard?
Well, it had like some sort of. There's a spirit realm that is horrible, and that host is linked to that realm, but also that host eats people. And
I
it-
suspected much.
But I mean people like us. If you live in that
Mm.
house, it will drain you. We had to rescue someone. They did. I didn't do anything, but they rescued someone from that house who had got in there and then just wasn't eventually able to leave. And we were able to get her out, but she did not look the same anymore.
I see. I really
fed on her.
appreciate the heads up because I don't exactly enjoy being nommed upon. I'm pretty sure the house is a little terrified of Arthur. And I think we're going to bring in a necromancer so that he can suss out the house a little bit more. Maybe we can cleanse it or something. It's a really nice house though in general. Like the architecture, original architecture, gorgeous. Yes, if it's got some weird connection to the spirit realm, there's also like a mostly formed, partially formed homunculus in a secret room upstairs. A little death shrine. It's a big old fixer-upper. I don't plan on living there like full time. I have my own
Also-
little haven.
Also, you should watch out because I don't know if the spirit's still there or what exactly is happening, but there is someone in there who may want to murder me. And if it knows that you have some sort of connection to me at all, it might harm you by
see.
proxy. So
I'll
I
keep
would not.
Is this on the down low?
It's not a safe space for someone as someone like you. You are very good at what you did. It was my first moving picture.
Oh, your first is always the most special.
Well, thank you for the message. Now you don't have to do anything further, right?
Nope, I was just told to relay a message and he would owe me one.
All right. If he comes after you, tell me you relate it.
Oh yes, that's my plan. I told it to him straight to his face. I'll tell him that.
I wouldn't tell him anything else, though.
Oh, I'm not planning on it. I prefer to not give out extra fluous information.
I also wouldn't trust him.
Well, no, he's an Nosferatu.
No, that's not why. He's got his fingers in a lot of places, and he's a bit of a liar.
Most Nosferatu are, and do. Do and are. Do and are.
Well, thank you for relaying the message, and I hope it gets you a good favor. But please, I
Just
wouldn't want
hoping
you
to
to
keep
be...
it in my back pocket in case the house tries to eat me or something. Or something else goes on. I mean, the whole Camarilla's here now. It's kind of a drag.
Yeah, well... He just sort of glances over. His head just turns slightly and he goes, people seem to be getting a lot out of that, so...
I'm really hoping that they just keep busy or get bored and leave, because I want to do my own thing here, you know?
That's what some of us wanted.
Yeah, most
Back
of them... they don't really like technology, and I love technology. I want to get into some of the talkies. I want to have one last bright, shining debut on the stage, on the theater, on the big silver screen, and then I'll be content.
Well, that might be difficult, but you know what? When I was in university, there was a lot of sort of avant-garde underground films. Maybe you could do that.
Yes, I've thought about that kind of thing. I'm currently going to start working on a TV series soon. It's one of those little modern flicks with vampires and werewolves and that kind of thing. So most of this filming is a night schedule. So that should be very doable.
I imagine the schedule for that is pretty extreme. Look, if you want a thing, I would say go for something classic, something avant-garde, underground, something local, and that could get you an Oscar. You're not going to get an Oscar from a television show.
No, but it might get some of the higher ups to pay more attention. I just need a meeting. Once they see me, they're practically enamored, so...
Well, I mean, I imagine you could do that pretty easily. I imagine you could just, once you just see them, you can just...
Well, I mean, to a certain extent, yes, but there's it's a long-term thing, you know, movies. It takes a while to get the ball rolling. If it was just an instantaneous thing, I mean, I do leave them in awe. But...
Again, independent film. That's just my suggestion. I feel like that would be more worthy of your talent. Something with meaning.
I'll look into it.
Yeah. Well,
it's very nice meeting you, by the way.
It was nice meeting you, Miss Lamar. And he sort of gives a nod to let you go first to rejoin the.
And she will.
And he's, by the way, looking distinctly corpse-like.
Star,
Yes.
Swagger out to give him the full experience.
And he will follow after, almost like a bodyguard. It's sort of like he has this sort of it is. You could tell it seems like a bit of his habit to sort of be the person who is there to basically just protect others and sort of stand
To be the
2
shield.
steps in the background. Yeah, to be the shield.
I love
And he
it.
just sort of like follows behind you back towards the rest of the group.
There's a buzz coming from Alex's phone as you re-enter the room, and he looks at it and he goes, "Oh, oh wow, this seems to be a mass message. It says, well, it's from the prince. He got numbers of people. I gave mine because I want to keep abreast, forewarned and all that, right?
Yeah.
No, there's a way to do that by not giving him your actual phone.
Look, he doesn't get a call.
I was gonna say,
None
does-
of
does
you
Folly
got the
get a
text,
call?
by the way, because
Yeah.
none of you were.
anonymous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It says, while we recognize that the Camarilla is not the ruling sect of the city, we as Kindred cannot stand by as the Masquerade gets breached over and over. We are not the Sabbat. We are not some unthinking whites. But it doesn't say anything else. Is it ominous? Does it feel?
Oh, of course it's
Ominous.
ominous. It's their bullshit. By the way, can I see the phone? Can I see the phone for a second? Please.
No, it's my phone. You're gonna break it.
I'm not going to break it.
Insight check.
You can roll for it, but I'm going to tell you straight up, she's not going to break it.
He holds the.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. She pulls up the phone number from it.
It's not a It's like a It's like a 4-digit number.
Like a 411 or something.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's like 6152. Like it's an automated, sent through the provider. When they would normally send you like ads and such.
Yeah. She hands the phone back. She makes a little note of the number. And then she pulls out the business card that she got from Hilkers. Asshole wants to play. We'll play. And pulls out the Flory phone and swipes through, opens an incognito tab, and signs Hilkers up for Pornhub.
I mean, you're encouraging a local business, so.
I'm okay with this. And specifically the most white bread of vanilla porn.
The kind that Hilgers would probably enjoy anyway.
But then at the very end, she adds night shadows or night dreams, just to make it mess with his head. If you don't know what that is, go look it up.
Okay. But it's on that subbing the prince
Can I say?
Yes?
Artie,
Yeah.
this is it. This is it.
No, this is in response to ball rolling.
No. This is in response to what I did last week.
That's what it looks like.
Oh, but if it was, and she'll switch to Kant in the middle of a speech pattern because as much as she likes Folly, Folly's not family yet.
Nope, Flory doesn't
no.
understand a single word of what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, Folly will not understand. Flory will, but Folly won't.
That's
Ah,
fine.
sorry. Yep, names.
Yeah.
In one breath and the next, she switches and she goes, it might be his attempt to claim that it's about what happened last week. Lucky. But it's actually about something else.
One way or another, it doesn't matter. Examples need to be made.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but this and in the camp, this is the time when we live. There's 2 archons on the line.
What are those?
Heavy hitters within the Camarilla,
Why are they coming?
because the Tarnished Crown protocol that Hardestat put forth has been enacted by the city of Montreal.
What
The prince is
exactly
compromised.
what exactly do archons do?
They kill
They
princes.
investigate. Well, no, Justicars kill princes. Archons
that's
investigate
fair.
princes.
The Archons investigate, and then they have the Justicars come and kill the prince.
Investigate what?
Investigate that Val is using the prince as a puppet.
But you've got two Camarilla investigators. That's not great.
Archons usually
That's-
take an entire Sabbat pack to hurt.
Yeah, it's
Or-
not great.
No, it's not great.
Because-
It's keep our heads down while they go and fuck shit up.
Yeah, I'm gonna be that shit, Artie.
You are not.
Yeah, they're Camarilla investigators.
They're not here for you.
They're investigators. Investigators don't stop at just one thing.
Yes, they
They find
do
out as much as they
when
can.
it's below them. A breach is nothing to an Archon. They don't even like blink at a breach unless it is something that is nationally televised.
Lucky.
You are beneath their view. They are only showing up because someone called the old line. And it is an actual emergency. And if anyone is going to get dusted, it's going to be my ass because I gave Diane everything, including all the stuff on me. The old me. All of it. Because I need to make sure those Archons were showing up. If anyone's next on the
You're-
line, it's mine.
Already made deals with Caleb. I think you'll be protected.
Caleb is in his own world of shit because I didn't go to him. I went to Diane. If Diane went through and did the protocol as per stated, Caleb already knows he done fucked up. And he's going to have to deal with two Toreador Archons going, why didn't we hear from you first? You're the sheriff.
hope
You're supposed to
everything-
know everything. He didn't. He fucked up. It's his ass.
Didn't you tell him about it?
Tell
Didn't you
him about
tell-
you what?
No, didn't you tell him and everybody about the prince? Or
Valois knows, I know, y'all know, and the anarchs know. If Caleb can't put two and two together and has not played his cards right, he has no business being sheriff. He has no business being in Montreal. Because if you're going to be one of the spiders, you best know everything and you best play 10 steps ahead.
what makes you think he hasn't already contacted them?
Because I rely on the stupidity of others. And Caleb is just as dumb as I am. He is the right kind of dumb, and where you think you've been playing the game long enough that you're making head when you are just treading water.
I hope, for everyone's sake, that everyone else is as dumb as you say they are. Anyway, did you have work for us?
No, I'm going to see about getting an old friend into town to deal with the house. You'd like Fredo.
Probably not.
No,
But
you will. He's very old school. You like baseball?
it's okay.
He loves the stuff.
Not
Can't
really.
get enough of it.
It's sort of like a bit more of an American sport than for my taste.
Well,
Anyway,
he's a laugh right.
And with
Don't
that,
worry.
Ian can't. What is he doing here? And he just points
Yeah,
to
and you
Alex.
point
Even
over,
though-
and I have cornered
And
him. And I'm
everyone
like,
just
so
points-
a pawn shop.
Everyone just points over to Alex and go,
And he is awkwardly cornered by Folly, who is asking him.
and I think we're gonna end on that with just like the camera moving to those two in the corner, Alex being scared. And we'll just have one little snapshot of a plane landing in town. And, travelers disembarking, grabbing their trunks, suitcases, the word I was looking for. And there's a person in a kind of a long leather coat, reaches about mid-thigh, walks in, grabs the suitcase from the carousel, walks out of the airport. Someone's waiting for him. Taxi. He sits in the back seat. And the driver adjusts the mirror and asks, "Where to, Mr. Simmons?" And we'll end on that. Yee, things are happening. Things have been set in motion. Things that I did not expect, so that's going to be very interesting. Arthur, you are bringing a lot of eyes to Montreal.
Yes, you
To
bring
a
the
city that
cops
has
to the
yet
city.
to be claimed.
Yeah. For somebody who doesn't like the Camarilla, you're bringing a lot of camera cops to this town.
I am doing precisely what I said I would do for the Anarchs. I am doing precisely that.
Mhm. No, it's... Yeah, the Pinkertons are coming.
Yeah.
But
Look,
we'll see.
look. We can get. Flora's just sitting there sighing when she hears that you summoned two Archons. She's like, well, I had a plan to get Lucky out of this city. Now I have got to get a plan to get both Lucky and Artie out of this city. If necessary. It's okay, I'll get it.
Oh,
Well, I hope y'all had fun.
oh my goodness. I worry. Finally
Next-
met Miss Lamar, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Next week, by the way, will be
We hit it
our
off.
season finale.
Great.
Oh, you won't be there? Oh,
No,
no,
I-
right. Yes, because I forgot. Yes, because we're the 24th next week.
Yeah, it's the 24th
Um,
next week. I have a professional thing I have to do.
But that's
Sorry.
okay.
That's right.
You will have an out for next week, and then we've already talked about it because of the interludes and all that, so we'll get back to that. But players, please tell everyone where we can find you, what you have going on in your lives, your best moment of tonight. I'll keep my spiel for the end. We'll do same order as we did the intros, so we will start with Folly.
Hello. Yes, thank you for having me tonight. I very much enjoyed guesting. I wasn't expecting to laugh so hard I cried half my makeup off. I wasn't expecting to be completely broken this evening. So thank you, Simon, for phrasing. I also, aside from that moment, because it was just, I love all of Arthur's interactions with Folly. It just tickles me how put out yet helpful he is by the whole thing every time. And Flory teaching this poor young, I looked him up in the wiki thing, this poor young thin blood how to vampire, and blessed for being always agree with the Malkavian. That's gonna play very well into Folly's favor with this young poor sad young boy who does not know what he's gotten into by meeting Folly, and telling her he has a pawn shop. So
Oh no.
It's going to be so much fun. Thank you for having me again as a guest. You can find me at LaughLoveLindy, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, etc. We don't have any more games this week on my channel, but you can find me on Sunday for the penultimate episode of Witcher Roads Home. And you can find me next Tuesday for our Stargate Flames of Hope. Probably my last game on the channel until the end of May, because family needs to be visited, trips need to happen, and I've got some other games being concocted in the works that are being currently casted. I'm very excited. So that all takes preparation and a little bit of time off. So thank you very much. That is me.
You're very welcome. Thank you for coming. Lucky Dixon.
Hey, I am Trooper SJP, and it was such a great game. So many really amazing things going on. Of course, George Clooney, and the reactions there too, from both Folly and Artie, and of course, lessons in how to be a vampire. Well, actually, it's not even really that. It's the whirlwind that is Flory, because Alex was the guy that she just gave a brand new name to episode 1 of season 1. She was like, I think I'm gonna call you like Gregoire. It's a much better name. Like just the sort of steamroller.
Alexi. I was like, I'm going to call you Alexi.
Alexi, the steamroller that is Flory, which I love. And I want to thank Simon for the sexy homunculus. I know that you were going for creepy, but it ended up sexy, apparently. And you can find me on Friday.
Just lewd and crude.
Just lewd and crude. You can find me on Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern over on my channel, Trooper SJP, for The Gamblers, which is a Traveler Pirates of Drynecks campaign. And then, of course, you can find me on Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern over at Praxagor, the Smophoria's channel, for the penultimate episode of Witcher Roads Home, when all of our characters who have all had very healthy, grown-up like childhoods will all get to hang out and have tea. Probably.
No idea what you're talking about.
Yep. Nope.
Yeah,
Nope.
like we all had super great non-bullied
Yep.
childhoods.
Yep.
Thank you for coming, Trooper. Flory. Yes, I got it right.
Hey everybody, thank you for that. Hey everyone, I'm at Tearjadon on Twitter, or Praxgorth as Meaphoria, as you see me around here on Twitch, your friendly neighborhood Prax. Thank you again for this tonight. I'm sorry I will not be here next week. I have to go do real life businessy things, adult things, and but I loved every minute of this. I always love Folly. I also love the like bonding that is Folly and Flory, because it's like, yeah, we're just gonna have fun. But it's also that level of bonding that's a Malkavian and a Ravnos bonding over just like bullshit things, which is great. I love Trooper's portrayal of the shift between Lucky and to Dixon, and to the slow portrayal of this devolving character that's kind of pinned in this moment of devolution, but it can't devolve any further in the moment because of multiple reasons, possibly their own ability to hold on or desire to hold on, who knows. I love this. I also love attempting to warn Folly about the house. Whether that's appreciated or not is entirely different.
Side note, he's not answering the phone because he's dead, and he's not able to do the touch screens.
Yeah.
So he can just see that somebody called, and he's like,
Okay,
well,
you say this, Trooper. That's only true for Apple products. If you have Android,
Samsung, yeah, it doesn't matter.
you're fine. Yeah.
And she
Fun
bought
fact,
Samsung.
I struggle with Apple products in real life because I have very cold hands, and they're like, oh, you want to unlock this phone? Oh, you want to dial this number? And I'm like, please, I swear I'm alive.
yeah,
I have
but
no
he's
problems with
really
mine.
not alive. He's
It's
like
okay.
down
We're gonna
to
get you. We're gonna get you touch. We're gonna get you touch
Android.
screen gloves.
That's all you
Touch-
need. Android.
We're gonna get you touch screen gloves.
the gloves won't matter if you're a corpse, though.
No, well, it won't. It won't.
Yeah,
It will.
that's
yeah.
why the pen works.
That's why the pen works.
Sometimes things in my pocket activate my touchscreen. That's the problem. That's the problem with Androids, which means vampires can definitely use them. You just can't use Apple products. Sorry, Lucky.
Yeah, that's why we bought you. That's why we bought you a Samsung. Also,
Yeah.
better coding, and Flory does not support Apple products.
No.
But
You're
Folly has
muted. You're
LG.
muted, Artie. Yeah, because he used to have a Razr phone which he could operate, but now he's got a phone he can't actually access, and he's like, "Well, I can see
You totally
the message
can.
popped up."
yeah, we're gonna get
So he
you.
just
We're just
walked
gonna
over.
get you the pen, and you'll
You
be
can
fine.
access it. Yeah.
You'll have a pen, and you'll be fine.
But all that to say,
All that to say, I will also loved every moment of Artie, and I loved the moment of Artie being like, I can't tell you where he is, and I liked that little like growth moment for Artie and seeing how this goes. And I also appreciate everything about this, and I love this series. And you can find me next on Saturday over on my channel, Prex with Thesbophoria, for the penultimate episode of season 2 of A Song of Agapia's Fortune. They are underground in some ruins looking for a lich, and I'm sure it will be fine for them. This is my homebrewed high level D&D campaign. It's really great. I love every minute of that story. And then on Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern, for the penultimate episode of the final season of Witcher Roads Home, where projection is not happening in the emotional development of all of these characters, where there might finally be a discussion about a lie that has gone on for half a season at this point.
you keep trying to say things that should refer to me, but I don't think they do.
And other than that, and then I won't be here Monday, but next week I'll be doing 2 guests on my channel for NPC house builds for my next game of Carousel Court, and I'll follow my Twitter because I'm posting about that and everything else that I'm going to do. And these wonderful, fabulous people who are my friends and I love playing with, and they just bring me so much joy. So thank you very much.
You're very welcome. And last but not least, Mr. Arthur.
Hey everybody, Pope here, Pope World Bill on Twitter, Pope World Bill on Twitch. I lurk in all your streams. First business, then pleasure. If you don't see more of this ridiculous face, you get an opportunity on Saturday at that 8 p.m. Eastern over on Practical North Thesbophoria, as we are deep underground in something that is a prehistorical ruin, and there's a lich somewhere in there. I am very concerned that this lich may be a centaur, and I don't want to fight a centaur lich. That I do not need.
What do you want to do to a centaur lich?
I do not need a necrotic touch drive-by. Okay, that doesn't need to be a thing. But if it is, you're going to want to tune in because you don't want to miss that. So definitely be there and follow these wonderful people. Like, life's too damn short to follow all the nastiness they can find online. These people are all amazing, and keep abreast of what they're doing. Just like tonight with Folly always being Folly, and giving Arthur reason to reach back to some of the old contacts. I look forward to what Simon does with Fredo. And we will see what comes of that. Also, just like Artie's heart breaking over Dixon and just the fall, and there's nothing he can do. He is already fucked up enough that it's like, at this point, if I try any further, I'm just going to mess it up more. And then Flory's trying to hold all this together, and on top of that, we just got the freaking bombshell of a lifetime about, like, Flory's side of the story just as we're getting to the end of the season. See what you've done, Simon. I've seen it.
I know, right? But it's also just because of how time works in this game.
Yes, but I'm just... I twitch like just about to end the season. then there's this thing they want to know more about. Ah!
Fine. Oh, it'll be fine.
No, nothing is fine.
Everything's great, and I know where Artie lives now.
There's a
Yeah.
Polly knows where I live, and there's a George Clooney in our house.
Eh. Who doesn't like
These
a
are
little
things that
George
are
Clooney?
happening. So thank you all so much for being here. We're live VOD YouTube stories. Story is nothing without its audience. You're much part of this as we are. Thank you for being here. Be kind to yourselves and one another. Follow these wonderful folks, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you for coming. Thank you, everyone, for being here tonight. I'm Simon at Wandering DM. You can find me again on this channel on Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern for Scion, Birth of the New Gods. We are going to finish up a fight with a Titan, or Titan spawn, as the demigods are taking on their greatest foe so far, which has been thoroughly confused by words. And is probably going to die by the word. Otherwise, on Sunday, for the penultimate episode of Witcher Roads Home on Praxagorathus Mephoria's channel, where I play a well-adjusted mage. On that note, thank you so much for all the follow. Thank you for the raids. Thank you for the subs, for everything. We will see you next week. But before we leave, there is a friend who has just started a Chronicle of Vampire the Masquerade, so why not raid them right now and go check out Tracy's Ancestral Blood campaign over on her channel.
Ooh.
And we will see you again
Nice.
next week. Bye-bye.